Hello, Exiles, and welcome back for what is effectively our Season 2 of Path of Exile's Early Access Racing action. We had a very exciting first season, and I'm excited to be back today. This morning, very early here in Australia, with RaizQT. How you doing, buddy? Time to cast some more races, mate. How you feeling?
Early in Australia, late in Poland. That
Yep.
is such as life,
Beautiful.
Ziggy. Yeah?
Gamer hours.
I'm pretty excited. Looking like it's gonna be some interesting new techs. A lot of changes to PoE2. Some things making the game easier, some things making the game harder. There's gonna be one thing's for sure though. There's gonna be a lot of raking that we're gonna be seeing today. As
Definitely so. Yes, we are here today to find out who are the fastest Path of Exile 2 players in an Act 3 Doryani kill race event. So the idea is players play as fast as they can on a fresh account and get through, kill that boss through whatever means possible. And if that means using some rake and stomping ground, oh boy, you're going to see some rake and stomping ground action. But I'm very actually excited because things have changed so much from the first season. We had a wild first season where players were doing 3, 4, 5 hour finishes in the first race, and then by the third race they were like 2 hours faster than they were in the first race. Like, it was tech and strategies, and the meta was changing so rapidly. And now we have a new patch and a lot of new changes, a new weapon with spears, a new class to compete on, and like you said, a lot of changes. And well, spears are fast, Rise. Spears are fast. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's noticed.
I mean, it's not just that they're fast. They also give you a lot of defenses. So even though some of you guys might be expecting some caster action, we might be seeing some of that, but most of the time it's going to be a lot of raking, and then we might be seeing some cool techs with people swapping around into more single target oriented builds around Act 3, which hopefully is going to expose the better players, right? Because this race will primarily be knowledge based when it comes to the layouts, and then mechanics. How quickly can they dispose of those bosses?
How quickly, indeed. I've been looking in on some of the practice times, and I did see that yesterday. Ngormus, in his last practice run before he went to bed, got 1 hour and 46 minutes. So it's very fast. His fastest time for last season was a bit over 2 hours still, I think.
Correct.
So his actual race time was like 2 hours 20, but he had a bit of a faster time after that in some practice runs. But
2 hours and 15. And that also
15.
separated him from the next person in the very last race. That separated him from the next person, being Alex Bleblord, with a 2 hours and 31. So a pretty ginormous gap. Just a friendly reminder to anybody who hasn't seen the first races. This is a softcore race, but there are penalties for dying. If you die, you're going to have to sit around for a minute. And we did see a fair share of that as well.
Oh,
even from our top player who has
bloodbath.
won every single one of those races, Ngormus.
Mm-hmm. Even Ngormus suffered a few deaths. Indeed. We did have some bloodbath moments in a few zones, especially in Act 3, as players were getting their bearings. But expect to see a lot more refined strategies. But that said, people have been practicing so much and refining so much. But on top of that, there's a ton of new changes. And the spear tech for movement is insane. Like, we saw a lot of leap slam, shield charge, dodge roll, animation canceling things last season. And now there's rake, there's disengage, there's animation canceling out of those, there's combining that with shield charge, and we see rake dodge roll, rake disengage dodge roll, and it actually looks like some sort of I don't know, some anime outro sequence, kind of running, sprinting, leaping off the trees. Stuff
it's
going
so
on in terms
cool.
of the movement now. It's yes, it's some Warframe-esque movement going on in game right now, and this is off the back of a recently hotfixed change where originally there was some things where people were using parry animation cancel, but that has been fixed just in the lead up to this race. The players have been practicing new movement tech just for this last week, so it's pretty exciting. I'm very keen to see how everyone's going with it and just how fast they can be, because yeah, the game got harder in some ways, but at the same time, yeah, a lot of new tech. But we had a lot of interesting stories. Rise, I was wondering if you had any highlights from the past season to share, some reminiscences, perhaps.
We've already introduced Angormus, a player who has won pretty much every single one of the races and all of the PBs and everything. This guy is the person to look out for in this race. Although I gotta say, he has been practicing longer than the other people previously, so maybe now with more people practicing, maybe some people can narrow that gap. But simultaneously, I don't know. This guy really
He
stands
hasn't
out,
stopped.
and most players are trying to copy him overall. So
Yep.
he's definitely somebody that was a little bit contested by Alex Pleblord, the very prominent PoE1 racer. He did well, but again, in the very last race, there was that 15-minute gap. On top of that, we saw a lot of people struggling on things like the Sorceress. There are some, again, cool techs that you can do with some of the caster classes, which some people have deemed are going to end up being better than a class such as Monk, for instance, a player that we saw winning every single Monk class previously was Sarge, and he has stuck with the Monk, unlike many of his competitors, because just about everybody moved away from Monk due to the fact that he just doesn't have the single target that some of these other classes do have. So, like previously mentioned, we do have some of those caster classes that can switch over to Perfect Strike for Act 3. With Monk, it's a little bit more difficult. So, we're going to have to wait and see how those things go. But definitely, Sarge is going to be another player that we're going to need to watch out for. And then we also had a very interesting competition. We mentioned 2 players now. We're going to mention another 2. We had Donkatsu versus Fifus. And it was really back and forth.
Okay.
Both of these players were Ranger players, and it was really back and forth the whole way through. And then suddenly Donkatsu won, and we didn't even know what happened.
It caught
And
us
that
all by
seemed to be,
surprise.
that seemed to be a theme for them, where they go really neck and neck. And then for whatever reason, in Act 3, Donkatsu just has uh, an incredible read on the game overall, and it really shows. Sometimes even beating out some of the other classes where really I don't think anybody thought that was possible, so he shouldn't really be doing that. But somehow it's happening. So definitely another player to watch out for, as we're getting pretty close to the start of our race for anybody who's getting a little bit impatient. 2 more minutes.
We can switch over
And
to the starting line now and take a look at our starting players. Introduce us. Who have we got on the screen to kick us off with today? Of course, we'll swap and change between people during this race, as whoever is taking the lead needs to be looked in on. And we now have the ability, with some new tech that is in its early alpha, to first-person spectate in-game some people who might not even be streaming. So that's very exciting. In the future, we might be able to look at their inventories and skills and things like that. For now, at least, we can take a little peek on people. Oh, yeah. It's pretty exciting. So,
yeah,
Rise, who have we got on screen right now?
got Angormus in the top left, as introduced previously. Sarge in the top right. Woody Joe, who was really coming up with some of his own tech on the previous races.
Love
In the
it.
bottom left, a player who has put in a lot of effort, a lot of practice, and he really stands out with his unique approach, I think, to racing, as he seemingly doesn't take any notes from anybody. He's really doing his own thing, and sometimes it works, sometimes not as much. But overall, pretty good results from Woody Joe. And then we've got Billy Brilly, as I call him, even though that's not actually his name, in the bottom right. And they will be playing on
Wait,
a
is that what
sorcerer, I
is it
believe.
actually? Is it
It's
actually?
like German Pile Brille or some other,
I see.
Come
That
on,
makes
Dr.
sense.
Ziegler, you tell me.
And
It's Ziegler D. Oh, we're off.
right. So our race is off, and I'm in game spectating Angormus right now. I'm sitting here. I'm zooming in. I'm looking at his
Okay.
Demigod helmet, which of course the races are competing for today. The winner of each class will earn themselves a unique and a unique skin that is kind of effectively signed with their trophy. It's their win that only they have for each of the top of
Mm-hmm.
the classes. And there's going to be an Amazon on the line now, so it'll be interesting to see who's competing on that one. But this is looking very cool. So we
Well, we
are
are
off.
we are seeing Sarge also. He's a player who's got 3 of those demis, and he doesn't have his equipped.
Oh, he's
Interesting.
not doing the thing. That maybe feels a little braggy, maybe being a bit more humble, perhaps, or he forgot.
I mean,
Well,
it makes sense, The monk definitely looks a lot more glorious without that headpiece compared to the warrior that Angormus is playing. So, yeah, we do have currently a lot of class diversity on the screen, but we will be trying to keep track of who's doing what on the ladder. And again, friendly reminder that we do have the tech to spy on you guys in game in case somebody is listening in. There are some
only in the race, okay? Just to be clear.
I
Only
mean,
in
it
the
may be
race.
for you. I have special functions.
Raiz, are you looking at me right now? Actually, yes, we're on the Discord call, so yes. Anyhow, we do see, if you haven't seen this before, there's some fun little tech going on during the kill for the Miller here. The players dodge rolling tightly in place to avoid the slams, positioning against the wall. I always like how Angormus does that to prevent how many of the zombies get access to him at the same time and to stop the Miller from kind of moving around so much. And he gets a pretty nice clean kill there. And looking for any interesting drops.
A lot less running too.
Nothing
I mean,
too
Sarge had to
good
run a
from
really long way backwards to get back into town as he pulled his boss all the way to the entrance
Yes,
of the
I
boss
did
fight.
see that.
So a lot of
The
time
opposite
lost.
end of where you usually
Yes.
want to hang out.
Interesting strategy from Sarge. But he is the first person to go to Clear Feral with a very quick vendor check. These guys are going to be looking for as much useful gear as possible. But obviously, with this being a solo self-found race, they don't have access to any additional gold or anything. So it's only just the resources that they got from that boss. And now they're going to be focusing on progressing the story while simultaneously, hopefully, sufficiently gearing up and getting those support and active skill gems from some of the mini bosses that we have as they're going to be progressing through Act 1.
We see a little bit of bit of a mix of skills at the moment. Anyone who kind of has
Right.
access to the caster stuff is typically getting themselves a frost bomb here for that nice AoE clear. Meanwhile, with Angormus, we see what I really like, which is the early ground kind of animation cancel tech on the slams here. With a rolling slam first hit and then just animation canceling out of it with a dodge roll.
Yeah, and an interesting difference, I have to admit. He's dual wielding. I believe in the previous races he was using a two-hander. We were also getting news that he was trying to shop for a spear, but unfortunately couldn't purchase one due to the fact that they were all magic. So again, the limitation in the amount of gold that they're getting is costly.
Yeah, they were too. I saw him juggling his gold. He often will sell things and then like rebuy them if it helps him like get the right gold amount. Just using that vendor feature of rebuy to try and get enough gold to afford things. But yeah, the blue spear is too expensive right as he come out of right as he come out of the tutorial zone there. The players all so far getting pretty clean reads, no weird elbows on the zone. Sometimes the zone spawns with like a weird elbow that players get stuck in, but everyone's had a pretty clean run through so far, picking up their waypoints.
Sarge hitting that reset before the boss fight just so he comes into it as prepared as humanly possible. And with the use of some tricky weapon swapping, a crossbow, a shield on the back, frost bomb, like he's just got every single skill under the sun. And it's super effective. He's dealing with this boss incredibly well. So far, hasn't even lost any HP.
Honestly, how cool is this, right? Like, he's frost bombing, he's got a shield on his back, and he's using a crossbow to shoot the boss. Like, I just love the unorthodox combinations
but
of
ZIGGYD,
using whatever. It's good,
why do you
right?
need all of that stuff? Look at Angormus. He just whacks the boss 3 times and she's practically dead. I mean,
yeah.
I feel like Sarge maybe is overcomplicating things over here.
Possibly. That's the more straightforward approach from Angormus there. I'm going to whack him. It works well. I mean, Warrior was a class that everyone was saying it was one of the worst classes and no one would speedrun at a Warrior. And then we did, of course, last season see Angormus just be faster than everyone on the Warrior. And now maybe people think a little bit differently. But now as well with the power of Stomping Grounds, Warrior is looking even better. So the dominance for the simplicity of just whack him is, or indeed just stomp on him, is looking pretty good here. Angormus does pick up his two-handers. We do usually see him use a mixture of two-handers and one-handers to be able to have like the faster attacks when needed, especially for movement, and then the two-handers for the clean. He's got it mapped out, right? Like the amount of damage he needs to be able to kill things with a wide weapon. He knows a two-hander is going to kill this stuff with one hit. We do see Satu having an extended fight with the with Ariadne here, which is a unique rare monster that will drop a support gem, and that is crucially useful early on, but also it's a chance to get some flasks. But Sarge is not having a good time with Ariadne here. The rare is, always a little bit different, and there's a few packs of enemies on there. He's getting zoned out with the lightning creatures, the lightning spawns, the mirages, and the
Rough, he's got no potions.
Well. Oh man, he's not having a good time here, is he?
It's gonna be a reset.
He's being forced away. Is he abandoning? He's got no potions. There he goes. There's the reset. Wow. Yeah. No flasks, down to 15 health. Zoned out by the creatures.
LFG.
Could not catch a break.
Ziggy, he didn't refill potions. He didn't go to the well.
No.
Division. He didn't get the
there
well.
There are ways of getting those resets, but no, he's going take 2. He realizes his mistake and is back in. Not a great start for Sarge here. Definitely
like
something
the well, Sarge.
I was on that note. We already have our bloodbath here starting. It's so early in the morning for this much violence. Rise. Lundberger has indeed fallen there. Was that also to Ariadne? Was that
I was gonna mention that we switched over to Landberger. I was gonna do all this yapping about it, and then we look over and he's just dead. This is a player with a pretty impressive run in the last race. He was within a minute of the second placement warrior, so a really good player here. And unfortunately, Ragni is gonna make quick work of him. Interesting. I don't think this boss got buffed, right?
She's always a bit different, right? Like she can have different modifiers, I believe. So
I think so.
So and it might be based on the seed. I think everyone has the same though. I would need to recheck over the footage to make sure everyone indeed have the same. But
maybe we should mention that.
So everyone has it's a fixed seed race. Everyone does have the same layouts and things like that. So it's as fair as it can be in a game like this, effectively, where everyone is. It's all about how they approach that specific setup, like that specific seed, those layouts, those sorts of enemy spawns. Because it even affects enemy spawns, right? So like there'll be certain checkpoints where there'll be enemies that the players will try and farm, and the nature of what those enemies can be will be affected by the seed. So some races it's really good for them, some races it's less good, and they have a plan that they practice a lot, and it can be really hard to abandon that plan. We did see Sarge go and hit another checkpoint to refill his flask and then come back to Ariadne here. So he's trying to stick to that plan. And what have we got here? Oh, the level up diving.
Oh my!
What on this clip? This clip was amazing. That was his death.
I see production is already popping off. I thought we were going to be seeing an epic boss kill, but instead it's a rip clip.
Production love.
I see you.
A rip clip. Yeah. Very nice.
Who doesn't?
Like, hold on, guys. We need to see some suffering. Speaking of
but
suffering,
you might be...
We're already taking down. He's Ariadne just in the bottom left there. And securing the kill. Very nice.
Oh, nice.
Tough kill. Oof, tough kill.
This is kind of crazy. This boss is taking forever for some of these players over here. I feel like we haven't had this huge of a struggle last time, but one thing also that we haven't seen last time is this disengage action with the newly added spears. I mean, this disengage is going quick. Some people were complaining, PoE2 too slow. I don't know. This looks pretty quick to me.
Okay, so disengage is amazing. I love it as a skill. It takes over for dodge roll for me. It's a fantastic movement skill. Has a big effect here on how fast they're moving, but they're also linking it to stomping ground. So we can see it in this clip here from Mostly Works. You'll see as they land, 2 stomping ground pulses go off, so they can use it to clear as well as maneuver, and it's super juicy, right?
Yeah, it's especially effective at this stage of the game as they don't have access to Rake, that being, I believe, a level 6 skill. So with just being able to use one support gem, they're going to be using it on the disengage, which after this Rusking kill from Agormus...
Yeah, right? It's an insane boss kill. We're going to see some crazy early game boss kills here. So it's like the late game with Perfect Strike was already very powerful, but the early game now with tech like this is looking to be rather insane. But we just see an Angormus literally doing backflips over the boss and killing them.
Cool.
And it's super juicy because we'd seen like the Rake Stomping Ground tech as like typical leveling strategy for this season for everyone. But the disengage stomping ground, that early kind of bridging tech here is not something that I'd seen quite as much. So it's pretty cool to see it in action here and just how powerful it is. And Gormus does have Rake lined up, but he's not able to equip it just yet. So that'll be coming out soon. But get ready to start seeing things just getting faster and faster, right? They're putting the pedal to the metal now. The accelerator is fully flawed. This thing's just gonna start getting real fast.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about racing, right? That maybe some of our players aren't quite used to this. Maybe you're not too familiar with PoE1 racing. There are certain breakpoints and levels that you want to be getting in certain zones. And for that reason, even though Rake is just such an incredible skill, you don't want to be over leveling. You don't want to go too far. It's going to cost you precious seconds, sometimes even minutes, as in the previous race. I feel like most of everybody's improvement came from the fact that they stopped over leveling and they were doing these incredible Act 3 Doryani boss kills at even as low of a level as 28, which is pretty impressive. But the fact that it even became the standard for the race for everybody to be able to be competitive was even cooler to see. So everybody really stepping up their game. And I think more or less that's what we're going to be seeing here. I don't think we're going to be killing any bosses below level 28, but who knows? Oh, Nadine wins playing Project Diablo 2. That's my game of choice as well.
Oops,
Incredible stuff. Love that
I've just
game.
been checking in on some other races to see where people are, because Angormas does seem to have taken a pretty solid lead here. We are seeing most of the pack being around the Rust King right now. Sarge 2's taking them down. I just checked in on Bagel Goose, who's currently topping the ladder in terms of XP on a Ranger, and they were indeed killing. They just finished killing the Rust King with some spear backflips. They were actually doing some little spear backflip poke kind of animation canceling. Quite cute, actually. They like definitely practiced a specific strategy with the default attack weaving there. That was quite nice. But we'll be able to start checking in these. Like, bear with us as we like figure out how to use our new tech and implement it smoothly into the casting experience. But we see Angormas moving into Cemetery of Eternals. I want to make a special note about this area because some new kind of tech has been developed here that Angormas will be likely be taking advantage of, and that is this this idea that they can enter one of the side zones. So there's the two side zones, right? There's the there's Draven and there's the Consort. And if you enter one of the zones, it'll be set to level 8. And if you enter the next zone after you open the first one, it'll be level 9. If you then go back and reset the first zone, it'll be level 9 as well. So they'll specifically juggle the zone instances to make them both level 9, which makes the bosses a level 11, which was key for certain drops during Mace early games, which is not as important now that they're doing spears and stomping grounds where the weapon doesn't matter quite as much. But it's still very good for XP and it's still very good for loot. And given the power that they have early game now, that extra XP and loot is really useful.
Holy Ziggy, I thought this was a casual, family-friendly show. You're busting out the text over here? We're getting crazy.
I love to study the races and these little things they come up with. Because they come up with such clever little tricks, right? It's so good. I love it. Like, I didn't even know Alex that that's how the zones work. Like, once you open one, it makes the other one open a level higher. That's like the tricks that the devs do to make like the leveling kind of, you know, smoother. The leveling, it's just these little things we don't even think about. But the races certainly think about these things. Look at these. Oh, I love the rare kills. Are so juicy. Angorm is just obliterating that rare there.
Yeah, and this is really when where this mechanical ability is going to come into play. Rake a skill that is very powerful, but utilizing it effectively and jumping past certain packs of mobs to get to the back line and simultaneously take out the ones in the front is going to be something very important for our players. As yeah, the speed is definitely ramping, and you can see from Angormas that even without those animation cancels that were previously available for Rake, just so you're able to move around faster, it is pretty quick, and you can still cancel a lot of animations to really improve your time and make a pretty significant difference.
Yeah, so there's actually like a few different movement strategies here that get mixed together. And we'll be seeing Angormas doing the main early game one here now, which is rake into an animation cancel dodge roll. Sorry, disengage into an animation cancel dodge roll, or rake into an animation cancel dodge roll, or rake disengage dodge roll. So we see a bit of a mixture there. And then we also get shield charge for longer distances, which then is animation cancelled with a dodge roll at the end, just to like keep that movement going. And then later on, we also see leap slam shield charge in Act 3 too. So we see all these sorts of different movement tricks, but I love the like kind of acrobatic dance, especially on the warrior. It's like, look at him go.
It was pretty much my favorite build of PoE2 so far, so I can't say I'm mad at it, you know? Usually we get all these people complaining when it comes to these races. It's like, why are they running forward? Why aren't they running backwards with a bad build and all this sort of stuff? It's like, nah, you know what? I don't mind everybody playing Rake. It looks cool.
Yeah, right. Like I was saying, it's like some like Warframe-esque movement going on here. I love that new UI for the strong boxes as well. But Angormas just quickly ID open the box there, gets the quick rare kill, gets some extra loot. I'm seeing boxes used a lot more now because of this stuff as well. Like boxes are actually kind of getting used. I've even seen them getting crafted. Kind of wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, an interesting Sarge looking for the additional mini boss of the zone. I don't think Angormus went for this. He has found the exit. Interesting stuff. As we switch over in the bottom left, it mostly works. Another very potent competitor
Ooh,
from our
Exile is
previous
doing
race. I
well.
believe, yeah, I think they were sorceress last time, so definitely stepping up their game and enjoying a more competitive class with what looks like to be a warrior. So a complete switch up here.
So fast. And Angormas killed there. A unique boots, Legion Stride. He's looking at him. He's looking at him, looking at the stats. We're like, okay.
There's only one stat that those boots need, and that's movement speed, and I don't see it.
No, right. It's not even, right? So this is the thing, right? Like it was always in racing, it was like, oh, who got the movement speed boots? Well, they're gonna win. It's like
Oh,
the
no.
RNG of movement speed boots was like, it's something we had to consider. It's like, but not so much currently.
Here we go.
I don't know
He's
if
gonna
you look
talk
at the
about the boot
screen.
swap. No,
If you okay, yeah, yes,
he's gonna do
you
it.
know me well. But also,
Alkalepgy.
have you looked at the screen? How much actual running is going on? Right? Movement speed boots do help. They make your town a little bit faster. They make those little wiggles around corners and stuff a little bit faster. So they're good. But yes, you touched on a very important point: the movement speed boot swap. They have movement speed boots, then they have bossing boots, and this was tech that I believe Angormas coined, which was you have a boot swap for bosses. So when you're about to go into the boss fight, you lace up your your Nike boss obliterators and chuck those on. And look,
Holy
here he is,
damage.
mate. That's all down to the bossing boots right there. I don't know if you know.
That's not bad, I gotta say. Those bossing boots putting in work.
Mate, if you're gonna be, I feel like you'd want a sturdy pair of boots if you're gonna be leaping over bosses like that.
It's kind of funny because Rig really simplifies the gearing. As you said, you don't really need movement speed boots. You don't really need anything other than strength. I mean, that's really the one thing
Yes.
that you're looking for to be scaling that stomping grounds. That
If you got strength on boots, you'd be using those instead.
yeah, it kind of looks like, and I mean, in these early stages, it's a little bit different too because Rake has a 100% chance to bleed, but eventually you're pretty much entirely scaling the stomping grounds with that strength scaling, and your weapon becomes not as important as long as you've got a lot of attack speed. That's really what you're going to be looking for. So some of our players are going to be getting these early weapons to get that early attack speed, as they do need to do a small amount of investment to get the best possible base for them through gaining some dexterity. They're going to have to get some dexterity for this stuff.
Let's take a look at some of our first-person perspective as well now on stream, just to give players a little bit of a look at that action. A good suggestion would be Hot Motion, currently on Mercenary, who's doing quite well as they come through Cemetery. We can see a little bit of the Mercenary spear action. And I'll check who else might be on there that maybe isn't streaming that we can take a little bit of a look in at as well.
I like it. We're looking for the people who aren't streaming to spy
Yeah,
on them.
I want to.
And they won't know either.
I want to use it. Right. And I know some people in chat want to see it, so let's give them a little looky. It's so clear. I love it. Oh, we have Hot Motion on stream actually. Everyone might be streaming, Rise. I'm trying to find out who's not streaming so that we can use
Wait,
the
no,
spyware.
Ziggy, we wouldn't see it. Hot Motion is in the bottom right, but on the stream, but we're not seeing it on the tool. We have to watch the stream. Or we have to spectate in game.
You're putting it in the bottom right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Production's got the tech. We're not smart enough for this stuff.
I didn't know. I thought they were just going to full screen. I thought they were going to alt tab. To be honest, that's what I would have done.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Production,
but you guys might notice they are not using just their auto attack. They have a full set of screens. The spectating tool isn't quite ready. So what you're seeing in the bottom right, you're not seeing the correct abilities just yet. We don't, unfortunately, have the function of checking their gear, but for the future races, that's going to be a possibility. So for right now, it's a little bit of cheeky spying, but not nearly as functional as maybe observing some of the Twitch streams. But we'll get you in the future if you're doing some secret strats. We'll
The
find them.
technology is rapidly evolving. Yeah, we're gonna be watching. We're gonna be watching.
Let's be honest, everybody's gonna be doing a rake. I mean, there's I don't think we're gonna find a secret build for this. Unless, you know, I always get these Redditors who say that, you know, they would participate in the race if there was a bunch of free stuff. And if only those guys participated, they would have won, and then we would have had the secret strats. But no,
Okay.
alas, they don't feel like play. They don't feel like winning the race. Unlucky for us.
I'm gonna see who is playing on Sork right now because I want to see a little bit of Sork action. I'm having fun with this new tool right now. I believe
So
Bunker does actually.
leave it to me.
stream, though.
Mostly works popping off on the Crow Bell, chasing him down as this boss shouldn't be taking damage in some of these running animations, but with the amount of damage that Rake is doing, you're still pretty much able to kill. Wait, can he actually kill him? No way. Nah, no shot. It's not gonna be close. Unless, I mean, you can continue to do damage, but it's not nearly as much. He's only getting about 2 ticks of damage as the boss, I believe, has like 90% damage reduction.
If you do too much damage just before that last phase, you can kind of like confuse the bird a bit. But we do get a very nice clean kill from Mostly Works there. Yeah, there's a few little strange things that can occur with the bird when you do unexpected things like nearly killing them way too fast before they get their bell. They get a little cranky at you and just keep slamming away instead of going to the next zone.
I'm gonna switch over to Zhao Ji in the top right, another player who had some really incredible results in the last race, and
yeah,
I
absolutely.
can't quite tell what class they're
Well,
playing this time.
Oh, that was such a good stun, but they got zoned out by the boss abilities, the traveling.
Unlucky.
I was just about to say. So I was just saying, this is a dangerous fight, right? Like,
Caster
there's a
Curse.
few abilities that can push you around, kind of zone you out, and then of course the slams are really, really rough. And this is the thing we often see with races, like sometimes like playing not fast will make the game a lot easier than playing this fast. You're moving so fast, you know, you're not really necessarily making your gear or his levels as good as they could be. And certain things can be quite scary, like this guy indeed, despite the amount of damage we're seeing the players deal right here.
Ooh,
that was much better. Yeah, that was much better. Didn't have any of the stomp is the ability you really don't want to see the boss do because it just disrupts the fight so much as it puts down the chill ground and that follows you around and everything like that. But that was a very clean kill there. That's stun locked and absolutely obliterated. Very nice. What's going on, Alex Pueblo? It's great.
He's having a little bit of a problem, I think.
We might not have. I don't know if we had Alex Pueblo on the stream just then. But we did just in time, very briefly there. We saw some strangeness going on with the bird. I was a little bit worried for a second there he was going to have an issue with the boss. But it seems like he has been able to chase the boss. I do love that, like, Rake just kind of harrying them as they travel. I don't actually have to move. You just, like, click and hold and follow them around with Rake. Meanwhile, Angorma's just deleting the boss there, going up, doing the quest step before going back down and getting the loot. Just little optimizations like that to save time.
No biggie, and Gorm's 2 zones ahead of everybody else.
No biggie.
What else is new?
No biggie. Yeah.
Well, we do have a lot of our players focusing a little bit more on those early levels, maybe because of how much we've seen people struggle. But obviously with Warrior, the one big advantage of this class, especially for Rake, not just for our past races, the fact that they just have access to all of these strength modifiers that other classes don't. And you get them fairly early. And it provides a tremendous amount of not just damage but also survivability. If you look over on Gormus's screen, that's 406 life. That's pretty beefy for Act 1. But then Zhao Ji, only 169. I mean, that's a nice number, but might be a bit insufficient when it comes to some of these upcoming boss fights.
Yeah, they do. You have to love that. Ooh, the Amber Amulet there as well. Very nice. Did that even have a strength roll on it? It might have been a dex roll, maybe, but very nice pick up there for the Amber Amulet's exactly what you want. They are, for those of you less familiar, Stomping Grounds is a support gem that scales its damage based explicitly on strength. So each point of strength is effectively damage for you. And what it does is it links to another skill that has some sort of movement in it, and it causes pulses, these little satisfying little explosions to occur whenever your character kind of like takes a step somewhat. And with Rake, there is 3 pulses. So there's one initial one, and then it's a nice little cadence that goes doosh, doosh, doosh. And
yeah, it's
it
based
does
off
those
of the
3 pulses.
steps. So you see like 3 steps, how the character takes them, and a small AoE around them. You can see it with Zhao Ji, especially now. Yeah, it's super effective. And that's another thing that you can scale your damage with too. It does count as attack damage, therefore you can scale it with attack area of effect. And there's a lot of that available around the warrior skill tree, so they're gonna have access to that early scaling faster than a lot of other classes, which does help with AoE, but it isn't as nearly as effective when it comes to single target, which so far really hasn't been a problem for any of our players who are above level 6 now, and yeah, they're raking it up.
No, definitely not. The 3 hits of damage there are really nice, and it's also effectively weapon independent, so they can actually just use like a whatever, white kind of wooden branch for a spear.
Kind of attack speed does matter. It does speed up the animation of the rake.
That's true.
But
like a low
there
level
is
attack speed spear will just carry you through the whole way. You don't need to necessarily get like a big physical damage roll on there. Well, you mostly care about the strength on that gear, which, as you said, is also life. So really good stuff to get. And
Rake is a little bit annoying when it comes to scaling attack speed, as it does have a built-in 0-4 like base animation to it. So you're only ever scaling like beyond that. You're never able to scale the 0-4. So it is not nearly as effective to scale attack speed as it is for a lot of other skills, but nonetheless, every second counts. And for our players, they're going to be catching as many damage area, whatever nodes as they can as early as possible. But, typically travel nodes are kind of costly, right? You don't want to be traveling too much on your skill tree if you're focusing on early game power. But anytime you travel with Rake, you pick up a strength node. And that's damage.
Yes. It's actually good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We did see Sarge 2 also get the stuff. So what was happening with the bird on the door there is if you stun that was really fast final phase there. If you stun the crowbell, it kind of like takes like a big kind of fall backwards and takes a knee. And if you do that on the door, it kind of goes through the door and then takes a knee. Right. It's kind of funny. So that's what we saw that happened for both players. They ended up stunning at that exact same spot, which is pretty funny. And Gormus is heading into the final act boss of Act 1. A tough boss, fast. A lot of abilities, a lot of different systems, a really cool boss fight with crescendoing music. It's got slam beat poetry with wolves coming out. You're not going to see any of that. Don't worry about it. We don't need to worry about it.
Come on, we're going to see some of it.
Let's see, because that was often a dividing thing. It's like some players would be able to do it without kind of getting any poetry phases. Others would be able to like not and have to. Is this
not a cinematic playthrough? Phase. Come on,
mate.
Story playthrough. Look, no, tell him to stop.
Goodbyes. And Gobbus, no, stop. This is my favorite boss fight, bro. It's too cool. Don't skip it.
Turn it off.
Good. Count Geonor does not like to go down without having a little bit of a say. He likes to have the final word in every argument. He's that guy. Even though he's been phased, right? Like his health has hit that break point where he's going to turn into a wolf. Geonor's like, look, I'm going to do 5 abilities, okay? I at least want to show you a few of them before I will transform. So you have to patiently wait for that. That's happened now. Good job. And now we go second phase for Angormus in the wolf phase. We go straight into beams with the stun. He does eat a beam there, but cancels the beam phase and kills him before he can even get his next ability off.
This is not
absolutely fair. Brutal. This race is going very nice for Angormus. His strength is looking
Jonathan,
real high
don't
there.
Look. Turn away.
Don't look.
Nothing to see here, Jonathan. Don't worry about it.
That was too good. That was too good. I'm wondering who's kind of closest to our next Geonor kill then, as Angormus takes the first steps into Act 2 of any of the races, I believe, at this point. We got Mostly Works not too far off now. And I'll check around on the ladder and see if there's anyone else who's kind of like having a little bit of a little sneak up on us. Who's up here?
Yeah, that does tend to happen. It is a little bit difficult to judge sometimes because some of our players will be focusing on some of those early levels. There are some zones in particular that you want to be leveling in. Some of our viewers might be familiar with people farming things like the Dreadnought, which I believe is fixed now. So that zone in particular, we're not going to be seeing as much focus on, but nonetheless, still a pretty chunky amount of XP that you could be getting out of it. And even for Argormus, you can see that previously he was killing much larger packs, and now he's trying to catch up a little bit on XP, get that level up before the next boss. And with level 14 and another 8 strength that he's picking up from that big strength wheel near the warrior start,
Double
he's
OK
gonna be
business,
juicing
or
up.
sorry, Temazava is just doing his GNL fight right now on a mercenary, so he's pretty far ahead.
Unlucky, Ziggy. I believe our
Where's that?
production is in the toilet. Oh no, wait. That's the other production. I think we're good. We
That's
can
the other
watch.
production. That's production 2.
Production. Holy.
And you just told everyone that production 2 is peeing. Well done.
I
Important
mean,
casting information. For
humans
you all.
pee. What can I do?
That is our job. We are here as cast, humble casters, just here to give you the crucial information that you need to enjoy this race to the fullest extent. And you need to know that production 2 is peeing right now. So shout outs to them.
Hey, remember to hydrate, okay? Drink your water, guys.
They're in the toilet. The language there is an interesting choice. GNL with the
I've got
the
solo
elevator.
self on English. You can't blame me on this. I thought you were gonna cover my back here, Ziggy. Come on.
Indeed. Double OK business in the top, in the bottom right now. Production even managed to get little name labels up. Well done, clap, clap, clap. But we have the second phase. Unfortunately, not quite as clean as the Angos. Like, this is what I said. Like, it can be a little different. You know, it's not just the stomping grounds. Angormus is pretty good, as we see here. A more typical GNR experience, where we have a poetry phase, we have a bunch of wolves, and now let's see how he goes. He should be able to take him out pretty cleanly before we get into another one. There's the big stun to help us, and the nice long stun animation there, looking really good, and gets him down. Whoa! Eats one big beam right at the end. Geonor is happy to have the final say, but well done there. Double OK was the character name, but the account name was Tema Zavar, and congrats to them for getting into Act 2 now as well. Nice and fast.
Yes, absolutely. As I'm seeing a message in the Twitch chat about how the game will be fixed in this player's eyes if we get iframes on dodge roll. And hello, player, we do have iframes on dodge roll. So now you can freely enjoy the game. Boom.
Look, we are that. We're GGG's that responsive.
Game is fixed.
Yep, there you go. Fixed.
Just like that.
Yeah, what a pleasant surprise for that person, right?
Yeah. Well,
that
guy just got a new favorite game. Let's go. Log in.
Let's go. We have some strength boots from the vendor for Mostly Works. I think I even saw our strength spear in there, but he opted for the strength boots. Some boss swapping boots, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Alex
boss swapping boots, standard
racer.
stuff.
Yep, of course. And I think that's the difference, honestly. I don't know if Alex Plebble has taken advantage of the boss swap boots, but if we take a look right here, he's got a poetry phase. Yeah, he's got a poetry phase.
This is so much time. It's kind of crazy. I mean, this could have happened to Angormus as well, as much as his damage was pretty incredible and all that.
There was no time. There was no time.
He sometimes does it like instantly. I don't know. But I mean, there is a big difference. Look at it. I mean, I believe Alex is playing Warrior as well, no? How can this difference be so massive?
372, right? And Gomez had like well over 400.
Oh.
He ended up getting a lot more strength there.
Oh, that's a solid indicator of things. Yeah, I mean, we can just about judge the amount of strength they've got.
Yeah, you see the big difference in the health. It could be some life rolls, but it's probably strength.
Probably strength. I can feel it. As Lundberger struggling with some of these heavy AoE attacks coming out from the boss. He gets the stun in. Will he be able to take him out here?
It's one little back slap there, a little bit of a backhand from the boss. Like I said, Jado likes to have the final say, is like, all right, you're going to take me down, I'm going to slap here.
That was nice.
Nice one from Lundberger there.
A huge damage too compared to Alex. I mean, Alex is ahead, but maybe it's coming at the cost of some items.
Yeah. I can't wait until we can peek in on their gear with the spectator tool. And Gormus. No, what happened?
I think his game crashed.
Oh.
Unless
Oh,
something's
oh,
off.
oh dear.
He's logging in.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit of a handicap for Angormus here. We're gonna keep disconnecting him just
He's
so
not
he
worried.
can't
Look at
be
him.
so far ahead of other
Look at that
players.
face. Yes. That's production rigging things in the
Yeah,
background.
come on,
That's production
Angormus,
for you
log
doing
in. Production, you know what to do. Log him out.
that.
Actually, it's see, but the tech
It
in
is
PoE 2, if this
his,
was
you
PoE
know,
1, he'd lose his progress. But in PoE 2, the game just pauses. That's OP.
yeah, I often ask Angormus about, like, you know, the different tricks of his trade, what makes him like such a good racer, and being logged in is one of the top things on his list. So
I see.
it's key. It's honestly unironically key to being a good racer in Path of Exile is being logged in. And by that, jokes aside, you know, getting in and doing that practice, there is an open field here. It's such early days, and the racing community in Path of Exile is also just like, shout outs to them because they are so cooperative. Like, and like I saw some of them talking about this on stream yesterday. It's like people are like, oh, you're like trying to keep this secret from each other and things like that. It's like, no, they're literally like telling each other everything in the racing Discord. They're like, oh, hey guys, I discovered this new thing that makes me 30 seconds faster. Here's how to do it. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. We'll do that too. And they're like, yeah, cool. Now we can compete on a level playing field. It's like everyone's trying to make everyone faster. It's great. Sometimes they be a little cheeky with like something they discover and they use it for a race. Like it'd be like, yeah, that's good. I discovered I didn't tell you about yet. But it's just always fun. But there's a lot of info sharing, and like people are also really happy to answer questions and things like that, which I love to see.
Interesting too. Apparently, Angormus has a hotkey to close the game. This man speedruns the game and he speedruns closing it. That's pretty based.
Are we seeing farming in Mordoon Mines, I wonder? Because there is a checkpoint reset farm in Mordoon Mines, and this was a relatively new strategy where previously they would farm later in the act, but some players did shift to using checkpoint resets for Mordoon Mine farms because there was a checkpoint you could reset here to farm champions for experience before you progress. Generally, so what we see is we see players kind of blast through Act 1, and then quite a lot of farming in Act 2 to get to level 28, like you mentioned before, so that you can just sprint through and obliterate every boss in Act 3. There's a few different farming strategies, but one of them was indeed in Mordoon Mines. So we'll see if that's still the case here. Of course, things could be quite a bit different with like the Rake Stomping Grounds, allowing for some pretty nice killing as you're maneuvering around without necessarily having to slow down as much. But still, even just a few checkpoint resets can be like an extra 2 levels real fast.
Yeah, and honestly, that little hiccup from Angormus allowed Alex to really catch up. He's only 1 zone behind now. Looking good.
There's a nasty player trap dead end in Mordoon Mines.
I see it.
Look at that. You look at that just big kind of like it's like a question mark. Like, I wonder how many that's gonna catch a lot of races. I think we often see this when there's like a weird layout. It's like everyone goes into the same dead end because they've all kind of practiced similar kind of zone reads, and then they end up making the same mistakes. So we'll see.
Yeah,
if
exactly. That's the thing. Like technically, all of the good players should run into that dead end. Anybody who doesn't run into that dead end, they need to practice their layouts more so they can copy Angormus.
Yes, if you made a mistake and went the wrong way, quote unquote, you might end up missing that, which would be funny. It'd give you a bit of an advantage. Here we go. Another boss that catches up a lot of players. A lot of new players struggle with Rudia, the Dread Engineer. She can be a little scary. Certainly a melee phase can be problematic. But if she
super scary, I see it.
You just do this. If you just put her on the ground and then kill her, then she can't do any of those. Go? Yep. She has. Do you know she has a flamethrower and grenades and explosives and a big melee attack? And is that another unique? He's covering his mouth. What was that? Was it a spear? It is. It's tearing his grip.
30 strength.
30 strength. Oh, how much? No, that's dirty. You don't want to do that.
Wait, what's the attack speed? No way. I was just gonna point out that Angormus had 666 HP, slow, but now
it's 710 now. Top end HP there. And seen a bit of jewelry crafting spam, but it's an interesting one. It's got some like strike stuff there.
It's really slow.
It is slow, but like you said, the base attack time for Rake means it doesn't actually matter too much, and the 30 strength might be. I mean, as far as Angormus is concerned, it's worth using. He's pretty excited. He put it on. He might kind of test it out and see. It is feel like a little slow.
Noticeable. It's noticeable how much slower it is. But I mean, 30 strength. Is that really worth it? He might just switch off of it. I don't know.
Yeah, like
look how much slower that animation is.
Slow, doesn't it? Maybe we're imagining it, but it does look a little bit slower,
I
doesn't
see
it?
it.
He doesn't seem bothered though. Watch him just absolutely murderize
Holy.
those rares though.
Yeah, that one
Like,
blew up.
yeah, beautiful. It could be a bossing weapon. It's true. Could be a bossing weapon.
Actually, yeah, that is the tech. Maybe he's swapping. I mean, I
Weapons
can
comp.
see him using the. Oh my, that was a nice dash too. Yeah, and this is
Yeah,
what you're going to be seeing. That even though this is just 2 buttons, technically, I mean, there is some animation canceling happening and whatnot, but really optimizing that rake dash is very, very important. It is a little bit clunky at times, so you do need some
yeah.
precise cursor positioning. And with Angormus, I mean, I really don't see a whole lot of mistakes going on. This guy is very quick.
It's kind of high effort. You can see from their cursors in the stream perspectives because like you watch them whip their cursor back to do disengage and then force. And yeah, it is even Angomas was saying like sometimes it's like it doesn't work as well as you want it to, and you're like, or you
Mhm.
kind of mess it up a bit and it doesn't feel so good. But he was saying when it works, when you're doing it though, when you're crushing it, it feels really, really good.
Yeah.
It's so fast, you're just zooming. But yeah, it is. There's definitely a bit of a skill to it, a bit of a knack to it, and it's something that players have kind of only been maybe practicing for a little while potentially. So it can take a while to get the knack for it.
Yeah, and you can see he's really with this weapon that I think even though it's a little bit slower, the mobility is a little bit limited. I mean, it's still really fast. And the biggest thing is that anytime you see that first step that his character takes, that first stomping ground AoE that comes out, he pretty much immediately rolls out of it. So this really allows him to be one-shotting with the initial animation, and then by rolling out of it, he's increasing his speed tremendously while simultaneously clearing out the enemies. And I gotta say, yeah, I think this seems to be pretty effective. And I mean, 722 HP is just so much more than anybody else. And Woody Joe in the bottom left now, yeah, he's a little bit further behind, but he's almost got half of it, right? That's crazy. With 369.
Yeah,
512
definitely
for
some.
Alex Pleblord being the closest player, and it's still not even close.
And of course, the crazy 720 for Gormus.
Yeah. That's just so much. I mean, I wonder because really that might make all the difference, right? Like whether you're one-shotting with that initial stomp or you're not, that pretty much costs you another second attack technically. But I mean, Alex for the most part is killing things as well, and I mean the initial damage might also matter for our players here, as previously mentioned, Rake does have a 100% chance to bleed enemies, but some of our players are also going to be using Lacerate as an additional support just for the sake of being able to bleed things down with the stomp. So it's going to increase the chances of you always having a bleed on an enemy. So that's going to allow you to just attack them once. With Alex now fighting Ruja, and with the HP difference indicating a big strength difference, we can see that his boss fight is not nearly as clean. This boss is going to get
Yeah.
up, and will she be
She
able to
most
attack?
There's a couple bombs down there he's got to be careful of. He does move out of the way. It was mostly just the oil, which isn't too dangerous. So he had a pretty clean run of
Yeah.
that, despite it getting a chance to do a few abilities. Nothing really too scary. It's if she pulls out the melee attack, that you've got to be a bit worried, because unless you've managed to get that health up a fair bit, that can one-shot you pretty much. I think it's huge damage. But that was pretty clean
Yeah.
kill in the end.
We got
We have the
Jamanra
Jamin
happening
Ra.
for Angormus.
Oh yeah, and this is just the prequel, the taster fight for the final boss fight, but and Gomez
Holy.
barely getting a sniff of flavor, let alone a taster.
That's crazy. I mean, that's just so much damage. It's I thought that we're going to be full screening some things a little bit more, but
There's no
by the time
time.
we manage to
No
full screen
time.
something, the boss is already dead. We're going to have to
So we
come
do
in
have
ready.
we do have the wisps of this current expansion. They added wisps as the thing through the campaign. And it's not really something
Right.
we've seen the players chase, because it's not something you do in a race, especially if they happen to run backwards through a zone. But occasionally your paths will align, like we were somewhat seeing with Sarge 2. But it looks like I was hoping the wisp would kind of duck into a rare here, and he does pick up the checkpoint, but then the Whisper's going another way. It looks like the Whisper's going in one of the corner zones to target a specific rare, because they pick a nearby rare and kind of beeline towards it. But Sarge 2 has got a different plan. What is Sarge 2's plan currently, actually? He's looking for a specific point there, but he knows where Delwyn is not where he needs to go.
What is happening right now? This isn't the first time that I've seen this too. I mean, he went out of his way to find that mini boss earlier on in Act 1.
Yeah. So the Wisp actually was the right way, because the checkpoint, of course, is like in the part where you want to go through, because that checkpoint is like to the next section of the zone.
I wonder if there was some maybe
XP
breakpoint that he was looking for, or
yeah, it's unusual to do that instead of, say, like farming a checkpoint later on, though.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
XP
If this was
strategy.
any other player, we'd just assume a honest mistake. But Sarge did win 3 Monk Demis
exactly.
in the previous races. Like, this guy knows what he's doing. So
when I'm watching races,
figure
I
out
often
what the intent was there.
Yeah, exactly. I take that perspective when I'm watching races. I assume that I'm wrong most of the time. Like, if they do something weird, I'm like, they probably have a weird reason for this, rather than be like, they made a mistake. Sometimes you do see mistakes, though. It happens. Happens to all.
Oh yeah, and another big difference is those guaranteed Artificer's orbs and whatnot that we get throughout the campaign now, which lets our players itemize a little bit better. I mean, there's also the additional stats that you can get from the runes that were newly added only a month or so ago.
They buffed runes a lot, and they added the ability to get much more sockets, because actually getting sockets in a race was very difficult. Just wasn't going to happen reliably, but now there are guaranteed Artificer's orbs scattered around in a few different locations in the early acts, as well as some guaranteed runes. So those are things players can get. And I have been wondering if we're going to see races start to adapt any of those into the race, like going off and getting like the blacksmith tools and things like that, something that people have done off and on, because that can potentially be useful. But, you know, taking like a huge side quest that costs a lot of time might not be something you necessarily want to do. But if there's just like a little chest that's just slightly out of the way that gives you an Artificer's Orb, and you've got a strength rune in your inventory, then, well, you know, it might be really worth it. And it could be something you adapt to on the fly too. Kabbalah for Angormus going down very fast right there. Of course, the running theme picks up. It's a really good side boss to do. It's barely off the main path. You get yourself a specialization book and a gem. So that's 2 extra passives. That's 20 strength right there. Oh, baby.
Damn. Yeah, it's going to make a big difference, as we are utilizing the spectating tool to get a sneak peek of Arco, who was one of those monk players from previous races. Now, I believe, fully switched over to another class. I'm actually not sure what they're playing. I think it's a warrior, but it looks kind of slim. Is that a warrior?
Yeah, they're on Huntress. I had been wondering who'd be picking up Huntress. Yeah, it's hard to tell because they're wearing strength armor. It's like the Sork, especially in strength armor, looks like really, really powerful looking. I was like, is that actually sorceress? I was like, it says right there on the ladder. Didn't look like it though. They're wearing the armor.
Yeah, and I gotta say, despite the fact that we're seeing a pretty big gap in regards to what zones our players are in, in terms of XP, we're not seeing as big of a gap nearly as much. I mean, there's the 1 level gap between Angormus and our second current placement player, mostly works, but then we see, pretty much everybody else just about 1 level behind in the top 20. So pretty tight race regardless, and it is a race where the class will matter, right? So even though it seems like warrior with all the access to strength is going to be a good class to choose if you want to win rank 1 overall, but if you want to get more demis, you might choose to play a little bit of a weaker class, which that was the strategy for some of our players previously, where they would go for some kind of sorceress or something, and then they would take 4 hours to finish. I'm not sure if that was necessarily worth the demi, but now with access to Rake, it's probably not going to be nearly as painful, as there's a lot larger variety of classes within the top 20 that I'm seeing right now. Another interesting thing, I think, is I wonder if anybody's going to be going for any ascendancies, right? I mean, that is something that was required of certain classes previously.
Yeah, like
people going for the Infernalist to really enable their build. I wonder if that's going to be the case here. Are there any classes that really heavily benefit this rake playstyle? I'm not sure.
Yeah, we do
I mean,
see things change a lot in Act 3. Lots of people go for Perfect Strike, but we do see other strategies as well come out for Act 3. So it'll be interesting to see now kind of how things have shifted for that Act 3 swap, because Rake Stomping Grounds does get swapped out of. Like, Angomas will stop using it completely in Act 3, basically right at the start of Act 3. And it'll be interesting to see how other players kind of like have adapted their strategies for that. We did see a huge, kind of pretty big diversity of skills like that in the last thing. And obviously we're seeing like in Act 1 and 2 right now, like early Act 1, it's all a bit different for each class. Then there's obviously that stretch from halfway through Act 1 through Act 2 where it's Rake Stomping Grounds for everyone right now. But this is kind of exciting thing about racing at this moment. It's like we saw completely different strategies in Season 1. One patch later, completely different strategy here. This is probably not going to be how Pitbull are racing next season. I'll tell you that now. I strongly suspect Stomping Grounds is going to become a tier 2 gem or something like that, for example, which would remove it from the equation here effectively. So we're probably going to be seeing completely different strategies next time around. So like we're going to get to see, maybe the movement will stay the same, but maybe like the damage skills will change. Maybe there'll be more weapon swapping going on like there was last season. Very fast kill there from Angomas. Whew. Didn't even get an attack off.
Yeah, lovely. I gotta say, if you guys are looking to get a world record that's gonna be standing there and it's not gonna be beaten for a long time, using this ability in this current patch might be the way to do it. We had that pretty frequently in PoE1 where certain patches had this just insane ability. It especially happened when it came to Smoke Mine. And once Smoke Mine was gone, it took players a very, very long time and many patches to be able to get those record times going again. So I think Angoramis's current world record might stand for a long time if nobody's going to beat it by the end of the patch.
To answer your earlier question, ZIGGYD is doing Barbala in the bottom left right now, which does indicate a strong indicator, one could say, of an impending Ascendancy run.
Interesting.
So ZIGGYD is going to be, because this is obviously a boss you can skip otherwise if you're not doing your Ascendancy. And given that it can be a little bit of a long fight, it's definitely something you do want to skip in that case. But it looks
really,
like
it's a really annoying fight. It's one of the worst ones. And it hurts too. I mean, he's kind of dying.
Here. Yeah. So we're got a little bit of a flame wall rake stomping ground action here. It's like a little bit of extra damage from the flame walls there, I suppose.
Yeah, a little bit more utility coming out. I mean, is it even doing damage? Not really. What's the idea here?
Yeah, normally you like shoot some projectiles through it, kind of adds that fire damage. I don't believe that counts as you. You don't count as a projectile, even if you backflip through it with backflip
I think so. No. Maybe for Angormas, this guy's going so fast, he might as well count as a projectile.
Angormas has gained the projectile tag. This crack me up.
I mean, it makes sense. Look at him. He's about to fight the next upcoming 2 bosses all at once.
Yep.
I'm trying to find what class ZIGGYD is, but honestly, I don't even see him on the ladder. So I think him spending this amount of time on what essentially is side content might end up costing him quite a lot.
So we saw earlier the setting both of the zones to level 9 that I talked about in the cemetery to gain extra XP. There was the kind of reverse strategy in Act 2 last season where players would use a specific sequence of zone opening and boss completions, because it's based on boss completions, to affect the levels of zones, usually to keep the levels lower because they were under-leveled and they wanted to get through things cleanly, especially some of the boss fights that can be a little bit nasty, like the Colossus. So they would do that. Now we're probably seeing a shift of that, of not using that tech explicitly. So we're probably seeing a strategic change here where the players are instead opting for getting more XP from the higher level zones instead. So actually killing the bosses in a more regular, more typical and not unusual fashion to as a specific conscious choice to make sure that the zones will be higher level as they progress through them so they get more XP, which might actually affect whether they do any checkpoint farming later. Like they might not really do much Dreadnought checkpoint farming. Since they'll be getting more XP from these zones.
I kind of thought that across the board, things are going to be a little bit more normalized when it comes to itemization and whatnot, just because previously there were such big gaps. Players didn't want to take the risk of maybe over leveling, but then not necessarily finding anything useful, and therefore not simplifying, or those boss fights are increasing their damage. But I thought that when it comes to the strength, everybody, more or less, unless they're in Gormus and they get a crazy spear, is going to end up with the same amount of gear. But that really doesn't seem to be the case. I mean, there are clear standouts where some players are putting in more effort into their itemization than others. And I mean, the king of it seems to be Angormus. I remember in PoE 1, a player that just about everybody is familiar with nowadays, Tai Killer, when he was, just a small upstart, that was one of his big problems, that even though he was able to go fast and he was mechanically very strong, his itemization was always lacking. So he always had these characters that had less HP. And even though it does seem like just about everybody's gameplay is the same here, it really isn't from a racing perspective. Some of these guys are clearly having a better idea than others what kind of items they need to be picking up, and how to optimize their gear to have an easier time getting through the campaign.
Yeah, a combination of practice, kind of strategy, and having like a very good understanding of what you need when you need it, when it's available, is very key and can make a huge difference in the item position here. Obviously, there's some luck. You get a big drop that has a lot of strength on it.
Yeah,
sure, you're ahead. But there's a lot of knowing that, okay, I can check vendors here, and if I do this in this sequence, then I can check vendors an extra time, and that gets me on average an extra item for my character. So you'll see things like, well, okay, if I do the bosses in this order, or if I do the zones in this order, or if I affect the zone level this way, then I will be this level, which means that the vendors will now stock this next item that I can gain, like a higher level base that I now have access to, or, even just another refresh.
It's kind of hard to point this out right now, as we are doing the first out of the 3 races that we're going to be doing. But you will be consistently, I think, seeing some of our players focusing a little bit more in gear than others. And I mean, it does come at a cost, right? You are costing yourself a little bit more time, but simultaneously your run is safer and you do have a little bit better of a boss fight. So we'll see where that sweet point is of focusing on gear compared to just trying to go as fast as possible. Because even though this is a softcore race, that 1 minute penalty whenever you do die might make all the difference, as
Absolutely.
in the previous races we've seen even players having the exact same time on the same class,
down to the
literally down to the second.
Yes,
so,
the first time ever I've seen it, we had an exact second to second finish for people competing on the same class. It was amazing.
Yep.
So
I gotta say, I've been hearing a lot of our players expressing that maybe they would even prefer a hardcore format, just because it's just so much more brutal whenever you do die. So it might be something that we could experiment with in the future.
I think I prefer the death penalty because I love a good comeback. And
Whoa, Ziggy!
You can't really have a good comeback from a hardcore.
What did he just say? Ziggy, relax. ZIGGYD looking to ascend.
Yeah, I love when someone has like a nasty pair of deaths or something, and they're like 2 minutes behind, and then we switch them off stream, and then all of a sudden they sneak up and then overtake. We had that happen, right? We had that happen with the Ranger races. Yep.
And just to confirm, ZIGGYD is a witch, so I think they were sorceress in the past races, so now it's...
Oh, wait. Yes.
Was it? Yeah, I think apparently they were practicing sorceress, so they're playing witch now. I'm not quite sure, but there's going to be Ascension, so that's exciting. As Angormus is taking down the Titan, and this is another fight that used to be very, very difficult and very tricky. Angormus gets 2 Regal Orbs. This guy is having a pretty good run. Even he can't believe it. You can see the surprise in his eyes.
I love that we have a face cam for Angormus now. He's got good reactions.
Yeah, nice and expressive. He's very expressive. Alex Pleblord heading over to his boss. Slowly but surely. Pretty good zone for getting some XP over here as we switch over to Landburger in the bottom left. Another player heading over to the double boss, getting chased down by those pesky volatile plants.
Can we keep ZIGGYD on stream? Maybe like over the top of one of the others, because I'd love for people to see the Ascendancy production. Oh yeah, cool. We have him on
We're
screen now.
seeing it.
Great.
Yeah, we switched it over. Cool. I don't know. You got the switcheroo.
Great.
You're hit by the switcheroo, Ziggy.
Oh yeah, I did.
I'm not quite sure why.
It's good because we do see a divergence in strategies here, with some classes going for the Ascendancy and others not. So obviously, it's a big thing. Like of going and doing a whole, trial of Ascendancy here is time consuming. So it obviously has to have a big payoff, and there was a lot of back and forth about where that was worth it, for which classes that was worth it, and obviously we didn't see warriors ever doing that, but we certainly saw like Sorks and witches and even some rangers and things doing that. And Infernalist was definitely a big one, because Infernalist was very powerful for that last run through Act 3, and we're still seeing that happen. That be the case here, at least for ZIGGYD. So we'll see how that pays off for them. And obviously they do need to get a nice clean run. They have to practice a whole different section of the race that other players don't normally have to practice. They got to run through traps, they got to deal with gauntlets, and unfortunately, ideally you got to run through where you don't have to do any gauntlets, but and you just take like an infliction or whatever to avoid one if you have to. But because the gauntlet's like, a solid minute extra sometimes. But ZIGGYD has definitely had some gauntlets going on, unfortunately.
Nice dodging. Maybe a little bit too much, to be honest, as at this point, I think it would be favorable to trade a little bit of that resolve for a little bit more speed.
Yeah, but imagine getting like to the end and then, I don't know, accidentally getting popped by the boss and losing that, getting the resolve death. Oh,
the boss can be tricky.
Yeah,
ZIGGYD is really going now. He's just going straight through the flames. He forgot a lever, I believe, at the
he had
start.
to backtrack for a lever. Oh, the gauntlet is already painful enough, but doing it twice? Oh no.
Yeah, but this is interesting, especially when it comes to the Ascension. Like I mentioned previously, many players would consider Monk or Ranger the weakest classes because of Witch and Sorceress having that perfect strike swap available. So it's kind of interesting if this is going to be some kind of end-game single target variant that we're going to be seeing here from ZIGGYD and some of our other players that will be looking to ascend. And they're not going to be perfect striking instead.
I think you rate Monk too low. I feel like we saw some pretty good Monk action and like some insane bell damage as well. It was just a little bit harder to get everything to like align well, to like sequence things, the combos, and get the bells down right and pull off the damage at the right time on the boss. Like it was a little bit more challenging, I think, potentially, than some of the other strategies. Obviously, Perfect Strike has a big skill component to it, but we did see people struggle with the bells off and on.
Yeah,
every now and then I was like,
I wonder actually, is Sarge even gonna be utilizing any of that, or is it just gonna be Rake all the way through?
Yeah, so I don't know. Like we definitely see warriors swap to Perfect Strike, and we've even heard talk of being like, oh yeah, and maybe on a Sork you're gonna Perfect Strike or something. So we'll see who ends up going that strategy versus if we end up seeing more conventional like class focused choices of say monks picking up some bells and going that route, or we'll probably see Infernalists doing not doing the bells, that's for sure, but I don't know what they're gonna do, so we'll see. Last time we had spells, right? We had summoning things going on before. It's gonna be potentially a lot different now. I don't know that many people will stick with spears though.
I think it just boils down to the fact that the witches and sorcerers, they can just head on over to the left side, and you're always going through strength because you can just pick up strength, right? So you get to the attack nodes, and that just ends up being a better alternative. So you switch over to Perfect Strike when you need to for single target purposes. And I guess for Monk, it's just not nearly as efficient to get to that side of the skill tree. So it might just be that you're either raking all the way through, or you might switch over to what was the single target.
You see that jump from Engormis? He jumped the gap and through the door. It was amazing.
Holy!
That was a godly skip from Engormis there. I love a good skip. Oof, so yummy.
Wait, there's just a straight up gap. Yeah, I see that. Wow.
Yeah, he went through the gap and the door with the same leap slam. It was amazing. I didn't even know
Oh,
you could
yeah.
jump through those doors, but apparently you can. It's funny, the door opened behind him after he went through it. So maybe it was like a opening in the midair, and because it is technically open, he could kind of phase through it or something. I don't know. That's pretty cool. I haven't seen that one before. I love seeing a new skip live. We had some great skips in Path of Exile 1, like with the Calm section, leaping up the lava waterfall things, for
Oh, yeah.
example. There's been a few good ones coming out in PoE 2, a few good little zone skips, but you have to be a bit clever about which ones you can pull off and when. And also, it does come down to zone layout sometimes, and of course, the race seed.
100%. Pretty tricky zone here for Angormus. And you can see the damage already beginning to fall off as our
Yeah.
players become more and more under-leveled. With Angormus, I believe, running a level 30 zone now, while himself being level... We don't have a
Yeah, I'm
too big of a
curious.
delay, level 24. So, yeah, pretty big gap. And you can see it in the damage loss, even with that insane spear that he got quite early on. Really able to one-shot things in the same way that he was before. He's not able to cancel that animation nearly as quickly, and whenever he does, you can see just like there, he got the big dash, he got the big hit, he canceled a little bit early, and therefore wasn't able to finish those mobs off. And at this stage of the game, I mean, costing yourself an additional attack is a pretty big time loss, as he recognizes he wasn't going the correct way with this layout and is going to be going towards the bottom left. Interesting read. Wow.
Rattle Cage up
Gotta
for
say.
ZIGGYD now in the bottom right as well, the final boss for his Ascendancy trial. It looks like they did pick up a nice resolve heal after taking a lot of damage in the gauntlets earlier, and so far is at a very clean Rattle Cage kill. Does time moving out of the way of that explosion very perfectly there, so not eating the huge damage from that, which obviously could be a bit of a run under if you get hit and
Yep.
stunned by the first one and eat a second one or something like that. But uses that spear mobility to get out of the way. Perfect disengage timing to avoid the stomp there. I love to see it, because in a situation like this where the boss is a bit more dangerous, we get to see people not just holding the rake button, but actually using a bit more of their skill set. And Spear has that mobility to like do some cool boss avoidances and disengages. And we
Here
get
we
the
go.
zoom in there for the Ascendancy choice, and we get the Infernalist
Infernalist.
action coming down for ZIGGYD right now, powering up. Looks like they picked up a Bloodthorn unique earlier. Nice.
Yeah, so this is just gonna be Demon Mommy, I believe, for single target, right?
Let's see how
Is that really what
Torgul
it
the
is?
Defiler goes down for Angormus. Torgul can be a little bit of a funny boss at times, slapping you around and falling on you and all that. Some things are really powerful against this boss, where you can just get so much
Don't
damage
laugh
with things
at
like
him. Look
Spear
at him.
Field, but
He's trying his
he's doing
best.
his best. He's trying. He's trying.
Didn't this guy
He's
get
so...
buffed? Come on. Poor little guy.
Nice. Some nice sets of drugs. Angormus has 5 Regals in his inventory. Who even gets 5 Regals in the entire campaign?
Yeah, this is ridiculous. I think he's not using them on purpose. He's like, this is just not fair at this point.
So stockpiling. That is actually funny that they're not necessarily used, because generally players will be using a lot of blue gear. And he's doing a change. I think he accidentally typed over his inventory search there, so he's using a string of search letters
That's interesting
written out
tech, though.
to
I've
look for
noticed that in
things.
the guild chat that people had their regex set up as
Yes,
their status, and
yes.
you can just copy it over from different places, either the guild status or the friends list status. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so the
Save
the the
yourself a little bit of
regex
time.
is a string of letters that you can use to search a vendor screen or indeed your stash tabs to look for specific things. So it'll have things like it might have like NN written in there to pick up runners for boots, for example, was an example from Path of Exile 1. So they're probably looking for certain bases, certain roles. It's probably looking for strength, right? But allows you to just kind of highlight those items in the vendor without having to manually look through things. So nice little bit of tech, and people will customize that for their needs and maybe even have different ones. But Angormus either making a mistake there or adjusting things on the
Ooh,
fly, which is a bit of Dreadnought action.
Angormus.
Dreadnought can be a bit spicy.
This
Getting a
zone
little
is
bit stuck.
so... It's simultaneously so nice for XP, and you want to be killing those mobs, but at the same time, it's so annoying because you're able to get hit by those pesky detonate deads coming out from some of these ranged attackers. So whenever you're clearing out a big pack, you have to keep in mind that, you know what, some of these guys are going to get blown up, and it might just not be the sort of damage that your character is going to be able to handle. But if there is a character in this race that will be able to handle a proper Detonate Dead, it's Angormus. I mean, 782 life.
Yeah,
Getting close to finishing up Act 2. I mean, those numbers are insane. I believe, you know, we would have some softcore players that would be mapping with these sort of stats.
So Angormus's goal right now is to get level 28 and get himself a nice Temple Maul crafted, ideally. We did see him craft a Temple Maul earlier and drop it. So it was obviously unsatisfactory. He can get through on basically a white Temple Maul in the end, ultimately, but certainly, given the power of his current rake stomping grounds, he would want something that's going to be a bit more of a leap ahead in terms of that single target damage. Right now, he's
Ziggy.
about level 25. So he's
Ziggy,
got
do
a
you
couple
see
levels to
it?
get. What do I see?
Do you see it? I see it.
No, what am I
She
seeing?
has arrived. And she's pumping.
Ah, in the bottom
Essence
right.
Drain operational. Zhao Ji with the
Yeah.
Demon Mummy technology.
So
The dash severely nerfed, but still quite strong, I gotta say. This is much better than
still fast,
Disengage.
right? It looks as fast as the rake animation cancel to me, honestly.
Yeah, it doesn't have a
around.
cooldown, that's the biggest thing. Disengage,
Yeah.
however small, the cooldown is still there, so it does make things a little bit more tricky. But how's the single target Bone Storm? Some tech that we saw players use in the previous races. I mean, a little
There's
bit
a
tricky stuff from the
huge
boss here.
There's a
They split
huge
up.
skill and timing component to this. I've seen players basically one-shot bosses with this when timed well with the
Yeah?
right support gem swaps and things like that. Yeah, they can do the certain things to time the stacks or whatever with the class, and then get off the perfect channel bone storm and get massive damage. So it's definitely worth keeping an eye on because we can see some pretty nutty boss kills with this. Even better than Perfect Strike at times I've seen.
Oh, I mean, this doesn't look nearly as impressive. I mean, you do only get 10 stacks. A big thing in the previous race, whenever players were going for the demon form, was the fact that they really needed to optimize the amount of stacks that they were getting in their boss fights. You really had to balance it so you don't, so you have as much damage as possible, but you don't kill yourself. But now you can only have 10 stacks with the additional points from your Ascendancy, so the damage wasn't looking nearly as impressive. I really wonder, and I question even, whether or not the amount of effort put into getting this Ascendancy was worth it in the first place.
I mean, that is definitely a question worth raising now, and that's going to change from race to race, season to season, potentially, as to whether it's worth it or not. But a part of the kind of tech for the bone storm, I don't think I have a specific note. I'm looking through my notes, but I can't find it, so I must have wrote it down. But there was a gem swap that added, I believe, a cooldown to the skill, but made it do massive damage. But if you timed that well with your stacks on the right boss, you could basically one-shot bosses with it. But other times you wouldn't use it because you didn't want that cooldown, for example. So some sustained damage not as good over a longer fight potentially, but the ability to just completely skip certain fights as well.
Wait, you're talking about a support gem?
Yeah, I believe there was some support gem
Hourglass.
swapping going on. Hourglass, that's the one.
I think that's the one, yeah. But
it's yeah, there was that and another support gem getting swapped around, if I recall correctly.
Even then, I mean, I believe it's 50% more damage. It would still not be sufficient. I mean, you wouldn't even get remotely close to killing that boss as quickly as Angormus is going to be killing his next upcoming boss. Another stage of Jamonra, a little bit of prep, getting a little bit more survivability / damage from any amount of strength that he can pick up from this vendor. And see the speed, the micromanagement. Down is lava. You need to really balance. Oh, wow, he's got a lesser jeweler orb, and he's going to be getting a 4-link.
They're a lot more common now, and actually getting
That's
one
really
of those
early.
Early on's nice. Yeah, that is really early.
Interesting. Resolve rune dropping on the ground. Isn't that the one that gives you strength?
So did he get forced to reset here, or is he sometimes if the champion pack at the checkpoint is no good, players will just farm the zone instead? But it looks like that was maybe a forced reset. But this is a good time, as he's leveling through here for these last few levels, every level he can check the vendors and get that gear sorted for the final push. which he's getting ready
Right.
for now. So it's not too bad.
Alex.
It's honestly not too bad to be forced to reset here if you have to, since you're kind of farming it anyway.
True. Alex fighting his Torgul. Damage looking pretty good. And his HP is getting close to
Yes.
Angormus's, but
754.
I think he does have some HP rolls on his gear as opposed to the pure strength stacking from Angormus, as his damage is high, but it's not nearly as high as Angormus's. I mean, by now the boss would have been dead for Angormus. But at least in terms of survivability, they're looking quite close. Mostly
Lots of
works
gem
taking
drops.
down their boss.
Torgul just face planting in the complete opposite direction of the arena. Poor guy.
Yeah, I
He's a
don't.
little,
What is
a
he
little bit of a
doing?
goober.
This guy's drunk.
Oh, poor Torgul. Stop bullying
You know,
him.
it's too early for Ziggy. It's too late for me. But Torgul, he's just never in good shape.
There's not a time for Torgul. Poor guy.
Yeah, this guy needs a buff. Catching up on some of the XP and Gormus. I believe he is looking to get level 28 for some of his final preparation for the Act 3 bosses that he will soon be tackling. We've got a rank 2 Lightspeed Cake, also known as Mostly Works, on a warrior level 25, currently in the bottom left of your guys' screen. And then we've got an interesting turn of events. Arco, a player who we have been spying on with the casting tool, is currently level 25 as well on a Huntress, rank 3 overall. Impressive.
Cool.
Oh, and a crazy observation that somehow we managed to not point out previously. Alex is playing a mercenary. He wasn't even warrior. Huh. No wonder he couldn't really quite keep up with Angormus, but that's pretty impressive. I mean, mercenary not too far off of warrior, but you still gain access to those strength nodes significantly later. So he was, for the most part, keeping up despite playing a pretty heavily weaker class.
To recap for you all, if you're less familiar with the exact structure of the races, there's two competitions. There's the first place for each class. There's ZIGGYD going on the boss fight here and doing a little bit of a fall off the arena. Sometimes you fall off the arena in this fight. It's no big deal. Don't worry about it. You just climb back up. And we do get like a second phase on the boss there where it shifts around the arena, but it was still pretty fast kill in the end and faster than last season's kills that we're seeing a lot of the time. So not too bad. A lot of damage on a pair of gloves there for Angormus, but not what he needs. We are seeing the final. Sorry, I was explaining the race format anyway. So there's the first place for each racer, which earns you the Demigod's trophy, and that's the kind of main competition for most people, is like being the fastest of their class. But there is also this time, and this is new, the fastest time across all three races. So, and we're going to be sure to be seeing Angormus pushing for that one in particular, where he's trying to basically setting world record. Like at this point, it's whoever can set the world record across every class, across everything. So that'll be what Angormus is pushing for.
That's especially interesting to me then, because Alex is somebody who's extremely competitive in PoE 1. I mean, anybody who's been following the PoE 1 racing scene knows that Alex, at certain points in time, with enough effort put in, he was really able to be a rank 1 contender. So for him to opt to go for a seemingly weaker class, I don't know if this is an indicator of him maybe seeing the Matrix a little bit differently than the other people do and thinking mercenary is just better, or some form of giving up.
Here we see it. Angormus hit level 28, immediately changed tactics, changed gear. It's all different now. No spear. Yep. Spear is gone. It is now a two-handed temple maul for single target perfect strikes, and then a one-handed with a shield for leap slam, shield charge, travel. He will not be killing any packs of monsters unless he absolutely has to. And he would be perfect striking with absolute perfection to get some absolute boss murdering here. I see a shock go down for the next one. Can he get it? Oh, the final hit with the shock. And the finish off there with the bone shatter as well. Nice. Love it. That was a good boss kill. Very good. I like
it's hard to do too. Angormus makes it look easy, but hitting these perfect strikes and really optimizing your play so that you know when to use it and how the boss is going to move, and really predicting when you can utilize your skills. It makes a huge difference. I mean, we've seen from the other players in the past races that it made a big difference when they weren't quite as familiar with some of the boss mechanics as Ngormus is. So impressive stuff. But again, he does make it look kind of easy. You know, it's one of those things in PoE where if you're playing on hardcore and your HP is always at 100%, somebody in Twitch chat might point out, like, this guy's not even dying. His health isn't moving. It's like, yeah, well, that's kind of like the thing that you want to be doing, right? So I think we're going to be seeing from other players that might happen.
This is like I've heard the suggestion where you need like a normal guy doing the same sports in the Olympics for comparison, side by side.
Right, yeah.
So maybe we need that. We need like a little one in the center that's just like some footage of me playing. It's like it just cuts side by side. So it's like, oh, here's what Ziggy looks like doing perfect strike on this boss. It's like, okay, he only gets to do it when the boss is stunned, and he only does it 50% of the time.
Nobody wants to see you do that boss with perfect strike. Come on. We don't have all night.
I can pull off perfect strike. Oh, I'm not bad. I think I can do it about half the time if the boss is not attacking me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, listen, this is another tool we're gonna need. First, we're getting spectator mode, and then we're getting the disable enemy boss mode. The streamer client is real.
Just make the boss stand still and do no ability.
Just turn it off.
Try and perfect strike.
This stupid game fighting back. I hate it. Turn it off.
Yes, it does indeed make it look easy. Yeah, there's not just the like nailing the timing portion, but also knowing like how to be able to do it end to end and how to deal with the boss getting stunned as well. That's something like when you stun the boss, half of them flip across the screen, but if you position right, you can still hit them after that happens. And then another one, tricks that often occur is there's specific lines of dialogue in the boss preamble monologues where they'll say something and then they know to start their perfect strike channel at the exact time they say like a certain word in the dialogue, because that's something they've mapped out, right? So that as soon as the perfect strike is ready to pop, the boss becomes hittable. So they hit him at that like exact microsecond, they become damageable.
Oh, yeah, you can see the difference right now.
Oh my god!
Yeah, but he missed 2 times before he killed it. You know,
I didn't see the miss. I only saw.
Oh, you don't remember from the previous race where he got he just got one perfect strike. He just killed both of them with one hit. This time that wasn't the case. Good. 4 attacks.
Ooh.
4 attacks.
4 attacks
2
this
bosses.
time. Ugh. Okay, I'm glad I didn't see that. It would have ruined my image of Angormus in my mind. I've built him up in a pedestal on my mind. As a god gamer, so I can't handle to have my vision shattered like that, to have my worldview questioned. I'm glad I missed
what it is. Then. Sometimes it did be like that. As Ngormus, the first person to enter is Ziggurat.
Naturally.
Naturally,
he
of
is
course.
zooming now. So yes, apart from like killing those rares there because those were specifically for getting an extra Jeweler's Orb, we do see Ngormus killed nothing because he has the level he wants. Yeah. He's got what he needs. He is level 28. He's going to leap slam. He's going to move real fast. He will kill the monkey. I believe monkey is happening 100% of the time now. Unless maybe it's like a weird zone layout or something. But
I mean, the monkey, I believe, spawns like really close to the exit just about every time now. So
I think it's pretty consistent. We saw it before. It was like, he maybe will do it if he feels ready. Now it's like he said yesterday, he's like, monkey's not even a question now.
Holy.
Monkey's not even a threat. He's feeling confident. Good Infernal skill from ZIGGYD down there. I've seen that boss get nearly one-shot by the Bone Storms, but like you said, things maybe changed a little bit, and it might also depend on different techs. Maybe like the other strategies, like
monkey.
Riskier. Meanwhile, monkey. 2 good perfect strikes, perfect dodge rolls, and the finish with the Bone Shatter. Very nice monkey.
Holy
very nice monkey. Clean monkey.
I wish my monkey kills looked like this.
Indeed.
They never do. Typically, it's me raging how the monkey's hitting me behind a tree.
It's like rolling on me and pushing me around.
Jamanra happening for mostly works.
Yeah, cool. Perfect strike. Good one.
Yeah, nice pumps.
Backs up a little bit there as he gets enough damage. Perfect. That's good. Yeah, that's great.
Damn, level 28. I mean, mostly works a player known to XP extremely well compared to other players. Not as good in terms of layout reads and the overall progression, but really good at min-maxing their XP, and that allowed them to really catch up back to and Gormus, despite a pretty huge gap in Act 1. And these perfect strikes, they're juicy.
Yeah, good
Jamonra,
shock.
not a particularly mobile boss, gets stunned out of the attack, and just like
Nice,
that.
that was great. And off the back of a big shock to speed up that last phase there as well, maybe saving like one perfect strike at the end.
Oh no,
no,
production. This is messed up.
They're ruining my. You got on the first
I'm
one,
gonna
and then
throw
he
up.
missed, and then no. Wait, you only missed one. What do you mean? It was only one, right?
I don't
It wasn't as bad
know.
as
It
you made
looked
it sound.
funky. Okay, maybe it's because of the.
It wasn't too bad.
It
You
was
made
the
it sound
Mistwalker,
worse.
you know.
Okay, that
It was
like
pretty
that
bad.
does. You can tell you can just like cringe a little bit when you miss that hit, but
Production has to set the record straight for their boy. Okay, unbiased casting. Okay, biased production though.
Yeah, they're correcting the slander here. Thank you, production. I appreciate it. Rescuing my worldview. Excellent.
Thank goodness. I mean, I don't know, Ziggy. Maybe we just suck. Everybody's making these bosses look kind of easy with perfect strike. To be honest, mostly works just kind of.
We are looking at the
get
top
the boss
races,
and.
This is selection bias by definition here. I am going to check in on Arco because apparently Arco is zooming.
Okay. Zooming.
So let me have a look where Arco is right now.
I like to hear.
No. Who?
Yeah, I want to hear it. Yes, good.
No.
Show us.
No, Arco's farming Dreadnought at the moment.
Wait, did you just build him up only to say, nah, actually, never mind?
No, wrong. I was getting intel from chat. Big mistake.
Yeah, well.
Arco is in his final stages of Dreadnought farming now, which is a bit more typical for where most of the pack is right now. We're seeing the top few players head into Act 3 and get on with their boss fight right now.
So it's interesting, I believe. I think people are checking the ladder, and Arco is level 29, so a little bit more leveling. I wonder if it's one of those things where it's worth it on this class in particular, because you're hitting a big breakpoint. Because really, I mean, the level 28 thing is kind of arbitrary at this stage, I believe, compared to previously. Previously, you were getting like big important things. Now it's
Temple Mall for 28. I believe,
it's just a Temple Mall.
It's just a Temple Mall, yeah. But it's also like, I think it's kind of a bare minimum level. I feel. I don't know if going through below 28 is really advisable.
Scary to progress through these zones. I mean, I remember how Waterways was just kicking everybody's butt last time.
Just murdering.
People were dying left and right. It was ridiculous. In all the best ways. I love the rip clips.
Yes.
We haven't had enough rips this time around. These guys are getting too good.
A little bit of early carnage, but yeah, that's been pretty clean so far. But we'll see how Act 3 goes, because that's often where things get a bit messy.
Maybe this should be hardcore, you know? These guys...
No, that perfect strike. How did you miss that one? That hurt. Oof. It felt like the slowest channel of all time as well.
Yeah, this damage, the speed.
Bit of a slower kill for Alex there, but not in any particular danger, just kind of a little slow, maybe. Just a little slow.
It's interesting because Alex...
Act 3.
It's interesting because Alex is really keeping up this entire race with a seemingly weaker class, but then somehow these boss fights always look a lot more tricky as we switch on over to...
And Gormus, no.
He's
struggling to get the soul core. And Gormus is trying to pick up a soul core, and there's one of those like mechanical spiders just sitting there doing the the thing when you're walking down the path, and then the person goes to the left, and then you try to go to your right, but that's the same direction, and then you do it like 3 times in a row. He just did that.
You gotta look him in the eyes, Ziggy. I figured it out.
So actually, I didn't.
I googled it. Yeah, I had that awkward situation way too many times, and at some point I googled it. Apparently, looking the person in the eyes is the right thing to do. But then what if both people look each other in the eyes and then you kiss?
I mean, yeah, then you have like some sort of like
I don't want to have that risk.
Stare down thing, and then you get into a fight. Something like that.
You get married, then you have children. I don't want any of that.
Then you kiss. That leads to hand holding. Yeah.
No.
That's the next step. So we have to be careful about this. And thankfully, none of that happened with Angormus here. But we do see the skips in this zone. It's a nice one for the leap zones where you can leap over those tree branchy things. And if you pick up your soul cores that you need early on, then you can just skip through the whole thing, going through the central highway, getting a little bit stuck on the zones there. You notice he doesn't really even have a clearing skill. And his leap slam does virtually no damage here. So he doesn't really have a way of killing things. You can kind of get them into stun range and go for the bone shatter, and that's the typical approach. So that's what he'd do here, for example. And he can manually weapon swap to do that, but ultimately it's going to be getting avoided most of the time. And it's only single targets that need to be killed. Generally just the bosses. But of course,
from
some of
Angormus
these things
here,
like statues there.
killing a bunch of those statues, and there's a pretty big indicator, I believe, in this zone where you can tell where the entrance is by the position of the checkpoint. So if there's a checkpoint, it's the exit. If there's no checkpoint, it's the bossa. So you definitely don't want to be fighting the boss at this stage. So nice read from Angormus, even though he did have to take down those statues. And now he's going to be progressing to one of the more interesting zones, the Sanctum,
Indeed.
where there's going to be quite a lot of checkpoint abusing, I believe, already
Indeed.
finding one of the checkpoints, going back. He's going to be heading on over to the other checkpoint, hopefully finding some things on the way, and then repeatedly resetting at the checkpoint to essentially spawn the soul core that's going to allow him to progress.
Yeah,
pretty cool stuff. Something that you guys can implement in your play.
Yeah, if you've ever struggled in this zone to find them, which I have, if you reset a checkpoint, it does reposition the soul core as the
you
quest
just
item.
Clear out a little bit. Like you can see how he goes around a little bit just to reveal the map, so you can see the soul cores as you don't see them in the fog of war. I mean, obviously, he's also hoping to find one right here.
Ideally,
not really happening for him.
No, not one there.
He's gonna
respawn
at checkpoint.
So now, and then respawn at checkpoint.
Yep.
And then respawn
pretty unlucky.
Checkpoint. No,
wow,
he's
really
definitely a hard
unlucky.
time. He finally gets it there.
There
And there's two, so he can actually just pick up both right here as well. So thankfully that makes up for it a bit.
He really went out of his way to go for the big cleanup as well, and ended up spending so much more time than you would normally over here, especially taking into account the fact that in this new patch, you have to wait for this thing on the ground to travel back to the boss room in an extremely slow fashion. I don't think there's any skip for it. Unless, wait, can you just respawn a checkpoint in the way? Oh my god, you can! I should have been doing this. Hey, I'm learning. Log in.
Yeah, I love
I thought you have to wait for it.
For the race. Yeah, I love learning these things for the race. Like the waterways lever skip. Hell yeah, I've been implementing that in my playthroughs.
Yeah, hell yeah, I have been too. I mean, this actually saves you. Angormus. Okay, he stuns it out.
He doesn't even care. Like the boss is stunned. The thing stays on the ground, but the actual explosion doesn't pop. So it kind of looks like it's still going to go. But Angormus just gets the stun, keeps perfect striking.
He died to that
doesn't even worry about the
no?
explosion. He has died to that before.
I remember he died to that in one of the previous races.
Yes, that was one of his upset deaths at a certain point there. Alex Plurblord monkey kill getting swiped. Oh, not getting a perfect monkey kill for Alex Plurblord here. He's not getting any of his perfect strikes off. The monkey's got him on the back foot. He's got him on the ropes. It's just like Alex is not catching a break here. He needs to
hit him, you coward.
He's got to reset. The roly polies on top of the monkey there is just not letting him get a chance. He couldn't get the timing right. No, Alex! Oh, the one-shot slam from the monkey. Oh,
I mean,
no. That is
monkey is not free. I mean, say what you want. Again, Angormus making things look easy.
Yes,
this stuff is not.
He made monkey look like a teddy bear, like a
holy production instantly swapping him out. This guy is not deserving of our eyes.
Already, they were like,
I know, right? They saw the monkey. They're like, time to swap him. We know what's next.
I'm hovering the button. If you fail, you're out. Production just being absolutely ruthless. If a player is not up to standards, they're like, get him out of here, swap him into. Let's have a look at Sarge instead.
Oh well, Sarge, he's nowhere near the monkey just yet.
He's stuck on the way to get a monkey. It's good to check in and see how people are going though.
Eating a big bleed. Now here's the real question: if we can switch back over to Alex, what's his plan? Is he running past the monkey, or is he going to try again? That's really what I want to see.
I need to know what part 2 of Monkey is actually.
Yeah.
Let's come back to Alex.
He's back in.
Monkey. Yeah, we need the revenge. Whoa.
Ooh.
Yes. Oh,
I'm stressing.
No, pushed him. He pushed him. Go again. Go.
Doink.
Good one. Once more. Wait for the swing, then start. Yeah. Oh, he's just going for the default attack. Yes. I love it. Good idea.
I mean, clean.
Just like
stuff.
that's it. I'm not trying this. This is clearly not working for me anymore. This is my monkey kill. I'm gonna, I think I'm just gonna go default attack instead. That's my perfect strike.
Oh,
it's perfect
another monkey. Bottom left.
Bottom left.
Mr.
Is that a reset
Shakal
too?
coach.
Good dodge. What's he doing? Just waiting. What? He can perfect strike. What is his gear? I think he had gear swap. He didn't have enough strength or something. He couldn't perfect strike. Okay, dodge. Yeah, good. All right, there's a nice first perfect strike. The dodge roll into the second one. Yep, it's just the regular swipe. That's good. A couple ads wandering in, but they're just a little snake things, so not too big a deal. Just a little bit of extra pressure. Should be manageable. Monkey is stunned, gets a good chance for that final perfect strike to finish him off, and the ignite basically takes him down the rest of the way. Good, well managed, pretty well managed.
Clean,
not fully clean, but pretty good.
Okay, come on, you can't. If I'm saying clean, you can't say not fully clean.
It wasn't not fully clean, fairly clean.
Oh, so clean is when it's perfect. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I would say is clean perfect.
Clean is like above average in my eyes.
Clean is without error in my mind, right? If someone has a clean kill, it's like nothing went wrong. It's just smooth, exactly to plan.
Listen, even with a little spaghetti on your shirt, you can still have a nice date. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
I guess like clean is more of a mindset thing. Do you think it's like if you say like, yeah, you spilled spaghetti all over yourself on your first date, but you were really like charming about it. You made it. You self-deprecated.
That's what I'm saying.
To a pleasant degree, and then you made some jokes about it, and you kept the evening being pleasant. So that's clean. Okay, clean date, good. Anyway, here's the lever skip, and go puts the portal down.
I'm about to talk about ZIGGYD, and you just
do it. Nails the skip. The lever skip is nailed.
Wait, you're talking about? I was gonna talk about ZIGGYD. Where you're talking about spaghetti on the shirt. Like, that bit was done.
A boss skill.
Yeah, boss skill. The lever skill. I mean, to be honest, yeah. There's too much happening, There's bosses dying. There's the lever skip. This is getting crazy. Talking about spaghetti over here.
Yes. Let us see how the witch bossing is going for ZIGGYD for the end of Act 2 here on the Infernalist. We're seeing some gear and some gemming after the end of the first phase here. Some level ups on the gems. Very nice. Let's see how this one goes. Which looks funny when they're in Infernalist mode on the ground.
Yup.
All right.
10 stacks. Nothing crazy. Big dodges. Damage.
Yeah. It's definitely no perfect strike, is it? But I don't know what a perfect strike would look like on a witch, so...
You might end up seeing it a little bit. I'll try to keep an eye out on some of our caster
I had heard
classes.
People were talking about some of that. Some perfect strike on unusual classes. Positioning and getting those clean channels for the Bone Storms with a little bit of the Essence Drain woven in to maintain the damage over time there. Honestly, pretty well handled. Great positioning. Has not had to stop dealing ideal damage pretty much the entire time, except to dodge just one slam towards the end there. And it's an ideal, if not high DPS, boss kill there. So that's what I would call clean. It's not necessarily that it was like insanely fast, but it was clean for sure. No spaghetti at all.
I mean, I can agree. I can agree with some of that. We do have a sorceress at rank 11 called Bunka Race. Maybe we can spy in on them, level 28. I wonder what kind of single target setup we could be looking at there. Oh, wow, whoa! It's even on the tool. They're streaming. Log in.
They're doing it. Yeah. We've seen Bunka stream before. I remember them from some of the early races doing some pretty decent runs. And so they're on Sork. Yeah, they're just cool because we haven't seen too much Sork. And we're still seeing Rake Stomping Grounds in the Act 3, which is unusual. Honestly, pretty much everyone's swapping off it for Act 3, but it's looking good here. They've got 800 life.
Though.
It could come down to how much strength you manage to get. Like, I actually wonder if, like, in some cases, you stick with it. In other cases, you don't. You have a backup plan. But, like, that's good there. That looks better than, like, the Infernalist, right?
Chimera, that means
Brazilian coach. If you do stick with it, that's no no, ascendancy needed.
Ooh,
Nice.
nicely tanked by Mr.
Yeah.
Coach.
Surviving the we have seen some deaths to Chimera. That was another one. Angormus's death was dying to Chimera. We have a couple bosses going on. Cyclician does jump on the platform, which is you can avoid that ideally. But Angormus with a very good first perfect strike on Queen of Filth. You can time that so it comes out right as she finishes doing her roll. She's going in with the slams here. She can be a little bit of a dangerous boss. Angormus, does get stunned out of his attack there, unfortunately. So he does kind of miss one.
Do we have to full screen this production?
That.
Turn it off. She eats her children. Come on. This is messed up.
Path of Exile, right?
I didn't need to see that before bed. Come on.
Very good. Nice kill from Angormus there. Not fully clean though, Rise. He did get stunned out of one attack, but otherwise pretty much ideal. Not much you can do to avoid that. Sometimes that just happens. Just one Spaghetti-O.
Okay, Spaghetti-O. I don't think you can have a nice date with Spaghetti-O, Ziggy.
Wait,
come on.
Jesus mostly works. You don't go to the fancy Spaghetti-O restaurant. We got a monkey from Bunker.
Oh,
is it? Yeah. Oh, is he running?
Oh, he's running. Oh, this is my sort of gameplay. Log out.
That's great.
Get out of there.
The monkey. I love the full screen for the run from the monkey.
Unless I'm level 50, I am not fighting normal monkey.
I'm getting in game. I'm killing back and then killing the monkey.
I mean, you're making fun of it, but that's literally what I do. I am not fighting that stuff.
Hardcore gaming strategies.
It's just not fair.
That's it. It's not fair.
Got a big stick. This monkey thing.
This is post nerf monkey too. They did make him a bit more fair. The roll was like hitting way too many times before.
True. It's getting hit behind trees.
There is some nice strategies and potential skips for Temple of Kopech. So each of the different levels has kind of a different strategy to it, and Angormus just gets us clean. Run through that first one there. You can tell kind of which way to go based on the scar. You see him do his little mouse cursor movement there. He's basically like pointing out to chat the zone read, which lets him leap over a gap, and then he can go straight to the exit. So perfect zone read and skips for Angormus here. There are some clever little skips you can do in this zone too. You can leap through some of the walls that have like little crafting benches along them.
Right.
But unneeded as Angormus is here. This is a tricky boss with the perfect strike. If he can nail it back to back, that's very impressive, honestly, because the boss moves back and forth a lot, and you need to anticipate that. Also, deal with that. Whoa. Yikes. We'll see if he does. If Kitsuli does the dashing back and forth, it can make perfect strike really, really tricky. That stun is ideal. That's really helpful. It does take him a little bit to get that perfect strike positioning done. I think he's going to get the final one here, though. Yeah. There's the dashing back and forth.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay.
So that's what I'm talking about, right? Like, I've seen players go into that phase with perfect strike and miss every single hit because the timing is just like, he just keeps perfect dodging you. And we do see that one dodge there. So not fully clean. Still pretty
crazy
good,
though how much HP he lost, the amount of gear swapping. Oh, yes.
Go do it. The dog's trying to distract. No distraction. Cold. Calculated. Loading, though. Perfectly done. You saw the load screen? There was a little brief flicker, wasn't there? Honestly, when I try to do it, I get the map appearing every time, but the skip kind of still happens. But
yeah, it's not as satisfying if you're an A, then Australian it's really satisfying.
Yeah. You can avoid ever seeing the map. So normally, if you don't recall from a regular playthrough, normally a map appears in this little sequence you have to go through. It saves you a second to do that skip, but
2 seconds.
I like it. 2 seconds.
It's big.
It's good.
Almost as big as Angormus. I mean, he had like 850 HP before, and now he's got 733 with a bunch of different gear swaps. He's having to weapon swap for a little bit of mobility, but he is a lot squishier than he was previously. You can even compare him to Bunka. Holy, this looks not very friendly, these guys.
No, he does not have the leap slam damage to be able to like kind of clear that out while maneuvering here. If he's using what he was talking about before, which is actually manually swapping weapons rather than automatically swapping for leap slam, then he can actually manually swap to the two-hander and use leap slam to clear a pack if needed. But ideally, he just does a straight run through here along this highway. Which if you get some good like a little wiggling back and forth and there's packs allow for it, you can do more
Here we
shield
go.
charge like that, which is a bit faster. Big fight. This is a tough fight. Everyone suffered for this one.
It is a little bit
Viper?
easier now.
Yeah, the Viper fight.
Ready to
has
LFG.
been
Agreed.
historic. He's getting
This is
ready.
prime.
Okay, good. Yep. He's
Start
preparing,
choking.
yes. Yes, the Viper fight is pretty scary. We've had a lot of really, really rough Viper fights for various players. And Gomes is mostly he gets pretty clean runs through here, but I feel like we've seen even from him some moments.
Yeah, sometimes this
she's
boss
nice.
just decides to use a bunch of really intense attacks back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah. Dodges
gets
that.
weird.
She dodges that next one. She actually feels like she's someone PvPing you, right? Because like she does unexpected things and dodges your perfect strike and counters you, and it's like it's different to the other bosses that kind of stand there and let you wail on them.
Oh wow, he's really lucking out here with the nice and the stun on the face.
Oh my!
You might just take her down without any invulnerability.
Surely she goes up in the air right now.
Okay, here we go. Time to dodge.
Okay, yep. That was really, really good.
And a tip for anybody who's watching, if you're ever struggling with this, I know that some of you guys might be like looking where these guys are poking and everything. Just dodge roll every time they're poking. Don't look whether or not they're actually even hitting you, as he doesn't dodge a slam.
Slam.
Pretty big, hefty attack. And she does it again. Here we go. So you see that he's not even watching if he's going to get hit. He just dodge rolls every time, and then it chooses either direction where you're going to be getting the multi-attack from, and he doesn't dodge that. Too late. Too slow.
Yeah,
Angorma's getting old. He's dead. Alkal FG.
This
is prime.
Slam comes out. Wow. Even the top of the top can fall to Viper. She is absolutely brutal. Got Bunker on Zyclusion now. Also a difficult boss, honestly. We've seen a lot of difficulties here. Even Angormas dying to the breath attack can just kind of catch you off guard. And sometimes you can get a clean kill and avoid it even really going up on the platforms. But other times you have to kind of collapse that platform and bring it down. And Bunker doing a decent job here with a bit of spear action.
Taking Angormas off the screen.
Interesting.
Taking Angormas off the screen production, you won't. No balls.
I have noticed a little thing here. He seems to have poison. They seem to have poison on with the armor break support set up. So they're doing some poison armor corrosion to lower the enemy's armor. I don't know how much it's actually able to do, but that's like a specific choice.
1 minute has passed.
Yeah. We need that.
Here we go.
Perfect.
Round 2.
They were on it.
Here we go. Ready to Alkal FG.
Yeah, the thing that can happen in this scenario is he can get a bit rattled after a death like that.
Oh no, he broke her out of the animation with the stun. That's not how you want to time it. If he doesn't, here we go. But the arena is still pretty big, so that's kind of the thing. When the more HP that the boss loses, the tighter this arena gets. But he manages to not have those mobs come in. He gets a big dodge there.
There we go.
Do it again, Viper. Come on. Do it. So go up.
I'm with you too. I love seeing Angormas dominating, but I like a little bit of pressure. I like a little bit of sweat, beads of sweat on the brow. Good second attempt. Much better.
I hate it.
Very nice.
No. He's doing too well. I don't like it.
So I've had the one death from Angormas, and it looks like his live splits have him a few minutes behind. His fastest time so far has been 146 for the actual finish, and he's 149 now. So he's definitely not going for a personal best here, but it's still on the line for fastest official race finish
by far. You have to remember that the fastest time that we had in the previous races were 2 hours, 15 minutes, and 5 seconds. So unless he's planning to be in this act for the next 25 minutes, I think it's going to be pretty quick.
I don't think he's planning that.
Yeah, well, we did have one Doryani accident with Sarge.
It has happened, yes. Yeah. The Sarge was that the lasers or the slam? We've had some issues with both.
I think he died to virtually every mechanic in that fight.
It was like 10
minutes.
It happens. Mostly works on Ketsuli here. Again, a difficult fight for the perfect strikes. We do see him dashing around a little bit. Some great perfect strikes so far. Looking very good. If you can get another one here, it should be ready for a stun. That dodge actually pushed him, which was kind of beneficial because it meant that he's too far away. Oh, he actually gets it. It was fine. Shows me up. Shows what I know. I thought he was too far away. Actually,
pixel perfect.
Beautiful. That was pretty much perfect. Yeah, I would call that clean. I would.
Why would you call it Ziggy?
Clean.
Nice.
Very Black Chambers for Angormus, the final stretch of the race for our leading racer here. He took the lead early this time and has maintained it through. An absolute god of Path of Exile 2 racing, but still not without error. He's had a death. He's had a few mistakes here and there.
But, having to reset.
Yeah.
He was dying.
This has been pretty clean. Thanks, production. I don't know about that. I don't know if I'd call the cast clean. I have a ways to go for that one. I got a lot of spaghetti on me right now.
There's a lot of spaghetti. I'm literally covered in it. Don't turn on the cameras.
Don't do that.
There's spaghetti everywhere. We might get banned.
The Black Chambers can be a little tricky at times. In particular, the doorways. Some of the enemies, some of these larger enemies blasting you when you get kind of in one of the doorways can be a bit tricky. But so far, Angormus having a clean run. I love that shield charge into the dodge roll around the corner. Then the zone reset here as we go into the actual fight. Yeah, let's full screen it. Let's check it out.
I thought we were full screening the waterways skip. This is okay too.
Okay. Yeah, we can come back. We can get a clip or something. All right. First perfect strike goes down, cleans up that energy shield. He does have to cancel the next one and dodge roll as Doryani teleports across the arena. Very nice, big perfect strike there. Slightly lower roll on that third one, but big one there. This is going really well. Yeah, lasers are coming up in the center of the arena. He's not getting a skip on that one. Unless. No, yeah, there they go. So he does have to wait for the laser phase. He's pointing at it with his cursor. It is possible to kind of go into the second phase without that happening, but pretty difficult.
It's long too. Yes. You have to wait it all the way out. You see him popping some of the phase 1 mechanics just so they clean up before the Doryani transitions over to the next phase. And those things can do a lot of damage, but the biggest thing, the most dangerous and most powerful attack that Doryani has crafted over thousands of years, the butt laser. You have to watch out for the butt laser.
You do. It has killed me many a time, especially in the endgame version. Butt laser gets me every time.
No butt laser so far. He's safe.
No butt laser.
It's coming.
Great. Nice dodge. I love the dodge roll through it. That was so confident. And look at his positioning. He knew exactly where it was going to end. He's was already just going with his next perfect strike. Like the boss wasn't even doing the most deadly mechanic that it has, right? No, he's I know exactly the degrees of rotation the boss does. The dodge roll under the arm there to get under the chill laser so he doesn't eat that. Beautiful. All right, he does go into his pop. He's waiting for the slam. Look, see the confidence of the not panic run, just the I know when to do the shield charge to dodge roll out of the explosion right at the time. Instead of this the more typical player does a lot of overrunning where they're moving a lot more than they need to be. And that makes some of these things harder to avoid. But Angormus, no, he just does it perfectly. That was clean, Rise.
That was clean. I gotta say.
Perfect. Well done, Angormus. 1 hour, 53 minutes and 50 seconds. The fastest race finish out of any official race so far. A few minutes off his personal best.
Mostly works so much damage.
Angormus, absolute legend. Great kill there from Viper. Mostly is doing damage.
That was really impressive for Mostly Works. And really, this gap is much smaller than it was in the previous events. Mostly Works having a little bit of trouble getting around the corner, but
if we don't look at Angormus, we can say that it's a pretty close race going on for the rest of our players.
It's close. Before it was like a 15-minute difference. Mostly Works is going to be within 5. That's 3 times better, technically.
Yeah, it is. People have caught up a lot. Angormus, I see someone in chat is like, why is Angormus so far ahead? I saw that question in chat. Just I love that question, honestly, because it is a good question. Angormus started race practicing quite a long time before even the first races were announced. He just was doing it as a hobby, posting videos on his YouTube channel. Relatively unknown at that point. He had done some race stuff in Path of Exile 1, but he was quite young then. And I found a comment of him. Someone linked me to a comment of his on YouTube, on one of the famous races YouTubes back in the day in Path of Exile 1. And kind of talking about it, and he's like, I hope to be able to do this kind of in the future. And he's like, keep trying, sports, keep trying.
He was responding to Tai Killer or something like that, like 6-7 years ago now. So pretty good stuff. That's also about the time when Tai was growing up when it comes to his racing.
It was cool. 6 years ago on here it is. Okay, I've got the exact one. This is the exact quote. It was Dead and Doom commenting on Angormus.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Angormus posted a Malachi speedrun on YouTube. It had like 200 views on YouTube. And he's like, Dead and Doom just simply said, not bad. And then Angormus said, I'll start doing it again and see if I can get more than a not bad winky face. And well, I think he's done much better than a not bad. When he reckoned.
Yeah. I mean, I think Dead and Doom could. I mean, I can ask Dead and Doom. Maybe you'll give him a not bad. To be honest, Dead and Doom has really grown out to be a quite. How do I describe him? Very, very skeptical about just about everything. So maybe you wouldn't give him a not bad. All Dead and Doom was a little bit more positive.
Well,
yeah, but you know what? In hindsight, maybe we shouldn't ask him. Never mind. Let's.
I think we can all judge for ourselves on that one.
Yes. But we do have a new entry to the scene, I gotta say. I mean, unless I didn't really notice them in the previous races. Shakal Coach. I'm most likely mispronouncing their name. It seems to be a Brazilian player who is absolutely destroying right now, really having a great run, and it seems like they put in the work, they put in the practice. It's really showing here as they are approaching the Queen of Filth herself. Nice dodge, clean approach, knowing exactly which abilities he's able to tank. Standing on quite a lot of mushrooms, but I mean, hey, as long as his HP is not 0, seems perfect to me.
Great, Bone Shutter. Perfect strike cleanup coming in at the same time. He does throw a little rake in the fight. He still has his spear equipped as like a backup plan for dealing with packs, which if you were not feeling as confident and worried about getting stuck at times, could be a plan, just to have that spear finish and see a little spear swap. I think he has his like default attack bound and set up to weapon swap, so it actually swapped to the spear for the default attack. Mostly works with the Doryani. Trying to close out their run as well. They could be our player number 2. They're the Angormus, only one's finished. A bit of laser action here. Oh yeah, that was a great perfect strike there. Dodges the explosion and the lasers simultaneously. Oh, Doryani being a little cheeky with that dodge. Oh dear.
I mean, to be honest, it's not going to make a difference, right? Because the laser's done, so...
Yeah, actually kind of worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
He was doing the fight. Didn't really lose any time to that in the end. The fact that like that first phase kind of, in a way, took longer, but at the same time, the end result was the same.
Yeah. Maybe even a better approach. I mean, you are risking not being able to get the skip, but it is somewhat safer. Nicely dodging everything. Perfect strikes. Targeting the most vulnerable part of the enemy. The butt. That's where the laser comes out of, if you didn't know.
The most lethal as well.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the weak point on the
Oh, he stuns him out of the invulnerability phase. Nicely done.
And the shock there to get an extra perfect strike damage and finishing it off. Congratulations to Mostly Works with a very nice finish there around the 1:59 mark. They are on Warrior, so they don't get the damage, unfortunately, as Angormus has already claimed that. But I have the utmost of respect for anyone who competes on Warrior right now. Alex, that was a very scary looking situation.
Yeah, that looked not very safe.
That was about 80 monsters surrounding him in a big circle.
Yep.
But
but still, Mostly Works really good.
Good reset. It was good. He avoided too much of an upset there. Didn't lose too much time as it was right at the start of the zone, thankfully.
And again, keep in mind that Mostly Works was a huntress, right? Am I remembering?
No,
that
Mostly Works is a
correctly?
warrior, right? Let me. I'll just double check. I was just checking. Mostly Works, Lightspeed Cake, warrior, refresh.
Oh, warrior. Okay, never mind.
Yep.
My
Yep.
bad.
Yeah, like I was saying, I have the utmost respect for anyone who competes against Angormus on warrior because you know you're all or nothing on that one.
Yep.
The strongest competition to go against to try and get that demi. If you want to secure that demi, is like, you know, you'd be like, oh, I might go on one of the classes that has a bit less competition, like mercenary or something. But no, just it
For
wants to be the
anybody
best,
wondering, if you guys are checking the ladder and you're wondering where is Arco, well, guys, we have the technology to check up on Arco and see what they're doing.
Yeah,
And they are AFK in town at level
we have a clip.
33. I'm not sure what's happening there.
The tap maybe, or
Ooh.
a real quick ping. Oh,
Oh.
controls it, boys.
Ooh,
Wait,
the greed.
Oh, no, did he? Oh, he thought he could get out of there. I think he second guessed it. Yeah.
Viper for
When to
Alex.
fold him, eh? He tried to hold him.
Oh wow, those
And we have
balls
a
are much
Kazuli
smaller
kill
now. Oh
with
whoa,
that
whoa,
just
whoa!
bouncing. Oh, we got a
Nasty
lot going
pattern
on
from
screen right
Alex.
now. Yeah, Alex going through some nasty Viper phase right there. Great positioning to get that. Oh man, that perfect strike as she landed was beautiful. Getting
You gonna
harassed
be
by
able
the
to get
shield
it
line.
here? Nope.
Ooh.
He has to dodge.
Oh, it was so close. Chakal getting a pretty nice Kitsuli kill down there as well after a little bit of an awkward first part of the fight.
Nicely done
Judgy
by
navigating
Alex.
a difficult pack of enemies. Go, Alex, you got it, mate.
Boom! Wind goes for the big swing.
Excellent,
Well
nicely done.
Okay, and what is happening for Zhaoji? This might look like a warrior, but this is in fact a infernalist, guys, that you're seeing in the bottom right. I really wonder if there's going to be anything different here. I mean, there is Essence Drain, there's Demon Form, but as far as progressing through the zone, it seems more or less the same. Just a little bit of Leap Slamming mixed in with some shield charges.
Am I crazy,
Sarge?
or does Xiaoji have the unique spear as well? I'm looking at the in-game, because it's pretty distinctive. It's quite short. I'm gonna go in-game and look. Is there a name the same? I don't actually know if the name is the same. Oh, there they are. I'm gonna look. I'm doing some sleuthing. Well, I'm gonna just like look at the in-game art. I'm gonna zoom in.
Wait, but would it be on the back?
Oh, at least I was
having
mace, was it? Oh,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. It's just the club. I got tricked by the club.
You can't be leap slamming with a spear. Come on, that would be unfair.
Well, you can. You just weapon swap. I'm a goober.
True.
Don't mind me.
Well, it happens. As we're heading over to another Viper, I gotta say this is my favorite fight. I love this one.
Yeah, like I said, she feels like a bit of a PvP fight. It's quite cool. So
it's so nice that even players like Angormus can die.
Yeah,
like
it
really shows how good of a design it is. This one
in a few places too.
Yep. And most importantly, Alva gets schmacked. That's my favorite part. Here it comes. This is it. This is prime.
Arco is continuing their race. They were doing some respecking apparently in town, and they are back on the move again. Spin, spin, spin. Getting ready. All right. Let's see. Waiting for the moment to pull that perfect strike out, or are we gonna wait? Yeah, some players opt to wait. Not. Oh yeah, that's unfortunate.
Oh damn! This is really.
Oh, she pushed him and kind of missed that last little bit there because the cursor stays where it is, right, when she pushes you. So it can change your aiming if you kind of get pushed past your cursor. That's exactly what happened
This is a rough pattern here. This is really not easy.
Oh, and she just moves out of range of that next one. Oh, he does get the tap there, but her energy shield had just come back, so it only just barely got rid of it.
Oh man, you can see the disappointment on his face too.
Yeah, the shaking of the head.
Hates to see it, man. This is bad. This is one of the worst patterns I've seen of this boss. I had one of these recently. I had to reset the fight fully. He's keeping up with his potions. It's still looking okay.
We do see players get attritioned out of this fight sometimes with flasks.
I mean, the potions are looking a little bit rough, but
Eats
It
that
might
full
be enough.
barrage.
The problem is at this point he's so committed, right? He has to stay in the middle. He's only got 1, maybe 2 more potion usage. And
Mhm.
the boss is in half, and she can do whatever attack she chooses to. The arena gets smaller. The barrage is going to drain another potion. No more flasks. The boss is low.
That was
Is he
too
going to
many, that was too many
commit?
flasks.
Doesn't greet it this time.
No,
The
yeah, you
frustration.
can't. They got it. Correct call to tap out of that. It was the writing was on the wall
Correct.
for sure.
Yeah, but that's the
I
thing,
do-
though, right? You take that risk where you continue to commit, even though you know your potion situation is so risky. So you went through that entire vulnerability phase, risking to die, only to then still have to reset regardless. Really unfortunate stuff, but the correct decision, and the well design is here. He has to click the
I thought there
well,
was a
so he
way
has
of
to go
doing
to the
the
gateway.
checkpoint reset without having to go back to the well. I feel like there is a way of doing that. Incomus is talking about that means you don't have to go all the way back to the well.
Maybe if you go
it's possible
to
Chakar doesn't know about that.
maybe if you go to the previous checkpoint.
I'll have to ask. I'll have to
honestly
ask
don't
him
know.
about that. It might have been something like that. You like walk back and forth. Maybe.
I think he needs to go to the other waypoint, to the other checkpoint, but he didn't
On
have
the
it.
on the
He didn't pick
waypoint.
up the
Yeah.
waypoint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a bit better than going back all the way back to town like that.
Yeah.
Alex is on Doryani as well, so we might have to multi-screen.
But
As much
Viper,
as I love seeing. First phase just going down for Alex, so good timing. We can see that second phase. This attempt is going much better for Chakal this time around. Oh, he does eat
Is it
way too
though?
much damage from that poison though. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we'll see. He did get attrition by a lot of the poison attacks
Nice.
last time. Good dodges. Great. Alex with some good perfect strikes so far on Doryani's. Just eating the edge of that
Oh.
explosion, but that one's not too bad.
And I'm loving what I'm seeing
Phone
from
shutting,
both
yeah.
of these boss fights. Looking
Yeah.
clean.
My eyes are separating and going different directions to watch both at the same time right now in stunned silence. Good stun for Chakal. Oh, is it going to be enough to click? I think she's going to go in the air. She's not going to let him.
Unless.
Good dodge from Alex. Great. Chakal. Oh, he's just being forced away by a poison. He's got no flask left.
Nice.
She's so close, though. He's going to greet it no matter what. Yes, he does it. That was great. Mate,
Well
what a
played.
finish. That was a very exciting finish for Chakal there. Oh, I was really
Alex
worried he was
dropping
gonna
low
get
the
that. Alex
laser.
going right low.
Ooh.
That was
The
too
big
close.
shock.
That was too close. He was already low when the butt laser started. He must have a
Yep.
good flask. Oh, mate. That's why I shouldn't be alive situation there. The slam.
The importance of gearing 700 HP. Proving to be
Doesn't help.
sufficient.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, it's getting low. Oh, he hits that. And the orbital laser and the timing on the beams as well.
Oh no, and then
Doryani
vulnerability
making this as
too.
hard as possible. Oh no. He's
Last
got
potion.
one just barely sliver of flask usage left. He's not using it, he's holding it. Okay, there he goes. He's got no flask left, but Doryani's only got like one perfect strike in him. If nothing goes wrong,
Nice.
he should have the kill. There we go. Whew. Alex, that was a little bit stressful, mate. Good finish. Alex Blurbob. Is that our third finish? Let's take a look on the ladder.
No,
I'll
that's
do a
our
refresh.
fifth, I believe.
Oh,
we
we've
have
had
two
some people sneak in,
warriors.
have we? Oh, we need
Mostly
to check
works
in
in
on some.
Gormus. We've got Dub OK Business at Mercenary. We have Whole New Society, who was a pretty great racer. A minute behind. 40 seconds
Yeah, so
even.
These are mercenary finishes with Tema Zarvia and Whole New Society finishing on mercenary, with Tema Zarvia taking the win by a minute. So mercenary has been decided. Unfortunately, we didn't get to spy those ones. As not streaming, we didn't know about the finishes there. I'm gonna have to get a live updating ladder crew going, I think, so we can catch that next time. Yeah, Tema was the first mercenary win there. Let's see if we can catch some of the other finishes. Make sure we don't miss any. So we got.
Hi, Ziggy. I crashed.
Oh, hi, welcome back.
Sorry, guys.
I'm gonna spy in on a couple of the huntresses and things like that to see who might be getting kind of close. So make sure we can catch the finish if we can. Find out who's winning.
Sure, sounds good.
We can. Here's one thing: if two people aren't streaming, we can only spectate one of them currently, though.
Yeah, I gotta say, I love Shakal Coach. He really He might be one of my new favorite players.
Come out
Just
of
the play
nowhere
style and the expressions, you know, you can tell he's invested.
Yeah.
You can tell that this matters to him, and it's great to see, you know, players who really are trying their best, who are putting in the work, who showed up seemingly out of nowhere, and it all comes from hard work and effort. So
absolutely, I love to see someone we haven't seen before just taking such a dominant position there.
yeah,
And I'm just kind of going down the list to see if anyone else is kind of. But Arco is looking to be in a pretty strong position right now, as far as other new players taking a good lead. And Arco is playing on the Huntress with some competition from Cat Kills, and we'll keep an eye on them. But it looks like Arco is currently in the lead.
Yeah, Arco
We'll
had
see
to
how-
go AFK or something for a little bit, apparently. He got
Yeah,
to
and there's
like
a bit of
level
a respect
34
there.
and then went AFK.
They're back on it now, though.
Yeah.
Let's see how our monks are
Viper.
going too.
Bunka battling to the death with almost 1,000 life, but still dropping low in the top left. Wow, this fight from Bunka is really hectic. I mean, there's a totem. That totem's kind of helping. I mean, the rake doesn't seem to be doing nearly as much damage. He's having to pop those slams. And man, so many potions getting used while Viper's HP remaining quite high goes into the non-invulnerability flying phase.
So
Bunka's
Bunker's playing on a Sork, a sorceress with rake and a totem.
Oh.
You love to see it. 950 health, more than anyone else.
Oh, interesting. I mean, this
Double
will really
shield.
require a lot of good play. Yeah,
How
they
can
might
even
have
take
1,000
damage?
life, but it's so
shields.
hard to do damage.
Yeah, and I mean, we can see at this point the stomping grounds potentially does start to fall off, especially on a Sork. Like a warrior can probably keep it going a bit more, but
oh my god,
Zhaoji's going
Zhaoji.
quite low. I don't know if they're on screen at the moment, but yeah, behind our other spectators, Zhaoji's getting kind of stuck on some of the mobs. And the big packs that we've seen give people a bit of grief. Shuffling him around here. Yeah, look at the amount of enemies, just the entire crowd chasing them. They did get stuck in there and have to do a quick reset. But I feel like the zone's denser than it was. Maybe some of the zone changes compacted it a bit more or something.
Damn, Shackle Coach taking a
there.
big breath in. The fist bump comes out. The gaming chair is wiggling.
Yeah.
I love to see it.
Wiggle. Oh! Slard's going very low in the same packs as well in the background there. But we also have lots of Viper fights going on right now. Look how close this is between all the different races.
Look how not close it is between Bunka and Viper, though. I am worried over here. This might end up resulting in a reset.
That's a lot of flasks down already. We see a lot of attrition.
Wait, what's happening?
Losses to players here.
Oh, okay. Wait, did Doryani get frozen? How did he?
A bit of cold damage, maybe?
Something's happening. The boss is like teleporting around. Something was off. I think there was maybe some latency issue. I mean, it's really hard to stun this boss.
He's doing it.
I mean, yeah.
I like the rake into disengage, dodge roll out of the way there. Confident in the movement combo, because if you screw that up, you'll get slammed. So instead of doing like a shield charge.
My god. Everywhere I look, everybody's dying. Except it's all the players, none of the bosses. Zhaoji struggling, Bunka struggling. Shackle Coach looking good, I gotta say.
Arco's got it. No, Arco's got this for sure. Is that a very small flask though? Is it like a level 2 flask?
Holy.
My
That's not even that's not a stream overlay, just so you guys know. This is in-game view, so this isn't any sort of maybe maybe it's the spectating tool.
It's the in-game view from the okay,
yeah,
we got spectator mode for the flask. Okay, yeah, that's the it's technically the first person perspective holder's flask.
Yes,
nice. Who's still standing on the beach. Okay. I was gonna say that was a questionable flask. I was like, how could they be here right now with that flask? There's no way. Too important.
Welcome to Brazil. Nicely done.
Nicely done, Chicago Coach. Very good, mate. Very good. Let's take a look at the ladder and confirm their finish there, but they are.
Wait, Bunka is winning. Bunka won with no reset. Viper's down.
How? It was not looking good.
That might have been the most impressive display. I mean, to be honest, I kind of stopped looking because I assumed that that's going to be a reset no matter what.
He closed it out though, and still with half flash charges there. Well, I guess it refilled a bit at the end. But yeah, Chicago finishing with 2 hours and 14 minutes, which is faster than Angormus's time from last season. So pretty good for someone's first showing, right? Like,
yeah, it's a cool stat.
Not bad. That's a good stat. You got to feel good about that. You beat Angormus of 2 months ago, but you know, still. But yeah, that's on a warrior. So that was the 4th place warrior finish. So we've had just warriors and mercenaries so far. 4 warriors and 4 mercenaries finish actually. So competition is still on for Huntress, Ranger, Sork, Mercenary, and Monk. I mean,
Sarge is getting close. Zhao Ji finishing up his Viper now. Well done. Sarge is going to take down this boss too. I mean, he struggled with it in the past. Getting a little bit greedy here, but he knows his flasks are looking good.
Got it down. Very nice.
Chronix, who you guys are not seeing, is also another player that we're having in the waterways as Arco is getting close to his Doryani. Quick check up on the ladder.
I've been kind of scooting through, peeking in on everyone, but
top 10 is done.
Our top play. Who's this? What?
Yeah, suddenly everybody finished. There are 3 times at 2 hours and 14 minutes, and that's going to be Shackle Coach, who we have seen, but there's also Bagel Race 1, a Pathfinder.
We just had a ranger finish from Bagel, which we had not even seen. Just come out of nowhere there. Sneak up on a Pathfinder. We need a better way of tracking them on XP because they all stop at level 28. There's in fact 27, level 27. So there you go. The non-level 28 must have went through it like 26 or 27 and just we've got the finish there. 27 finish is impressive. Most people are 28 or 29. We see some players like a 35.
Yep. And I gotta say, I'm reading Twitch chat, and I'm seeing all the comments about no witch. Are there no witches in this race? You're looking at a witch right now, Zhao Ji. Can't you tell? This guy's a witch.
The witch. What do you mean?
So clearly a witch.
They are. I mean, they are actually using witch skills. They just also have leap, slam, shield charge because it's good. It goes fast.
Yep.
It goes very fast. But then the damage is coming from... that's a lot of the damage is coming from the enemies. They take a second to assess the situation after pausing and decide, I'm going to keep going. And they do have the ability to maneuver and kind of loop around and draw the pack out of the way so they can get past the entrance. So that's good. A bit more choices in this area where you can kind of leap over some of the middle sections if you can get close enough to it. But a bit more room to maneuver is good. Some nice shield charging and repositioning and leap slamming now. That's good. Good recovery. And Bunker going on with the Doryani fight now too. So Bunker is... Where is my body Bunker on the ladder? Bunker is on Sork and is pretty strong contender for our first Sork winner. The next sorceresses seem to be, unless there's anyone being super snaky, a few zones behind. So Bunker is looking pretty good here if they can have a decent Doryani fight. And very interestingly, they are the only one who's actually continued going with like the Ray kind of stomping grounds as the main damage source.
It's good
no
too,
perfect strike. It's good, yeah. Solid.
It seems better to me than ascending, to be honest, on a witch.
Yeah, the ascendancy time is a bit more questionable if you can get a decent Rake Stomping Grounds Act 3 together on a Sork, I think.
Yeah, and I wonder how close it is between Arco and the next Huntress, Cat. It might actually end up being really close. It's hard for us to show you guys because both of those players would have to be shown with the casting tool. And so it's kind of difficult, but we're tracking everything on the ladder. But just so you know, Arco technically is fighting for their lives. As Bunka is in a similar situation. Honestly, same as Sarge and Zhao Ji. All of the players that you're seeing on the screen right now are competing for a rank 1 demi.
Oh, they're all in their own separate rank 1 demis. Oh, great.
Yeah. We've
We
got
can cheer
Witch,
'em
Sorceress,
all on without feeling bad, huh?
Huntress. Wait, Huntress? No. Yes. And then Monk.
Well, we have actually had the Ranger finish with I'm actually Warrior Liners getting the
true.
and we had the Pathfinder earlier as well. Bagel Goose
Right.
sneaking into.
I forget.
So
Oh,
not on the
ZIGGYD!
line for the Doryani death, the coveted Doryani death. That was early on too. What was that from?
Damn.
I didn't see
Just
that
a
one.
straight up pop. Pulls over.
Just dead. Just dead.
That might make all the
ZIGGYD,
difference, actually. Don't know.
let me have it. So ZIGGYD's on Monk and wait, no, is that them? No, that's not them. ZIGGYD's on Infernalist. That's right, on Witch, which we haven't had any Witch finish yet. Ooh, I'm wondering if this death is going to cost them. I think they'll be okay if they don't have another one.
Goodness. There's 71 players above level 28. I mean, this is...
It's actually so hard
really
to track
going
right now
ham.
there's so many people like contending for these right now.
Yeah. People are getting hungry for these demis. I love to see it.
We can look at the people's perspectives now who aren't streaming, but we can't look at all of them at the same time. Just one at a time, so it's hard to tell. Yo. All right. ZIGGYD's going back in for the next attempt. Let's hope for a clean finish for them here on the Infernalist, because they could get themselves a Witch Demi, which I'm sure they'll be very happy with. Sergeant Bunkar's fight's going reasonably well so far. Not seeing any major issues there in the second phase. That's good. That's good. Sarge's competition, another monk, is a Queen of Filth, so he's got plenty of time. He can really take his time in this fight, try and make no mistakes. We do see the rake in the totem. The first totems I've seen in the races. I don't think I've seen a totem in these races until now. But laser, calculated, well positioned. Knows how much rotation they need to do. Keeping up the rake damage. Not using perfect strike means they can kind of just keep chipping away. They don't have to get those big timings. So a lot more attacking during the laser phase. Bunker going very low there. Just momentary panic from me as I am in the middle of talking.
Damn, they are really, I mean, they're not competing against each other, but they are kind of neck and neck. I mean, ZIGGYD's damage looking pretty good too. As Bunker having to dodge another invulnerability phase. Pretty unfortunate stuff there. Sarge. Oh, yo! Bunker getting hit by this.
920 health. Oh, feeling very good.
If this was on Gormas, they'd be dead. I mean, 924 HP is a huge amount. To compare, ZIGGYD has 550. Sarge has 1050. What?
The differences are wild. Often we see the Infernalists with a pretty good amount of energy shield, but that's not the case here. ZIGGYD just has the 30 energy shield. It's not much going on.
Oh my Bunker!
Bunker, what the heck? Getting through on this life pool so much here. Nearly dying.
That was one laser. That was one laser from the ad. This man will die.
Or something. Sarge getting the kill there. Well done, mate. I believe that is their monk demi for them. Let me just double check as I refresh the ladder.
Sarge consistently winning every single monk race. Nicely done.
Yeah, they've got a nice little collection of demis now, don't they? Excellent. Well done to Sarge. Congratulations on a nice finish there and another monk win.
Bunker.
Added to the collection. Bunker's getting very close to finishing out their kill here.
Bunker respecting the laser now.
Good. Yes.
He got way too close to dying to that previously.
Oh, mate.
ZIGGYD close. If that slam hit him, he would be dead.
I have to breathe. I can't keep holding my breath anymore for you, Bunker. Please, just finish this fight. Mate, come on, you're killing me. Immunity phase. Okay, come on.
That's it.
Good shield charge.
Unless
he's like the health is wafer thin. Nice.
ZIGGYD.
Oh, sigh of relief. ZIGGYD.
So I'm pretty sure ZIGGYD gets hit by like anything and dies.
Yeah. I mean, even the
that was an auto attack.
The boss's default attack almost does it. Oh my god, it's very impressive because they got through that fight without making any errors in order to do that. Like you said, with 500 health, there was no room for mistakes, but they managed to get it done anyway. They did have that death in the first attempt, so that was their second attempt, but they did manage to get their kill. getting their Witch Infernalist finish. And double checking, I'm not crazy, but I think that is the Witch Demi for them as well. So we get Sarge earning themselves a Monk win and refreshing the ladder. Come on, ladder update.
Apparently, we've got everybody now.
It's challenging. I think we've done it. We have managed to secure a demi for it. Let me see. We got Huntress, we got Monk, we got Ranger. Yes, Ranger's a different one to Huntress. Mercenary. Yeah, it looks like it. There we go. With ZIGGYD claiming the final demi on the line with a finish of trying to get their final time. That's just not updating for some reason. Well, Sarge managed to get 2 hours and 23, and that was only a moment after that. So it'd be about 2 hours and 24 minutes, which again is about the times we were getting in the final race from the best players of the last time. So
last time Sarge's best time was 2 hours and 52 minutes. Or not his best time, but his last time. With the second person only being 3 minutes behind, and that was Arco. So
crazy improvement from the non-warriors, like in terms of their times, leaping forwards. Down to 2 hours 20 now, so like a 30-minute shave, no biggie.
And I mean, honestly, outside of Angormus, like it was really close. Like this really ramped up quick. Angormus, yeah, he was standing out a little bit, but when we got towards the end for some of these class demis, everybody was finishing at the same time. Really exciting stuff. Love to see it.
Yeah.
So many players competing.
That's where we'll be leaving the official cast for now, but of course you can jump over to any of the people who are still running and go and cheer them on. That's what I'll be doing after the race for sure.
You can log in and play yourself too.
You can log in and play yourself. There's a lot of fun to be had in terms of like, trying to get faster and faster, learning the different tactics, get involved with the Path of Exile racing community, share some knowledge that you find, learn from them. Like I was saying earlier, they're really friendly and really keen to share and teach people and answer questions. The Discord is, the PoE Racing Discord is there, and it's a pretty awesome scene. It's a really good time to get into it, really, as well, because like it's so interesting right now. It's so wild. This race was a lot to take in. There's so much new stuff going on.
It felt like last time we had like 20 minutes of breathing between every single finish, and we were kind of like, do we even wait until the end? This time around, it was worth waiting till the end because everybody was finishing at the same time. I love to see it. So cool, having over 100 characters above level 28 now. So different from the previous ones. It's cool to see the community so excited for this.
I think we get to like the 4-hour mark on the first race, and not everyone had finished from all the classes, so it's a bit of a different story.
Sorceress was like 6.5 hours or something on the first race. So
it's wild. So it's like it really doesn't take too long. That's just in a couple of months, right? It really doesn't take too long to practice, learn, and get yourself to being a top racer. Just we saw multiple new people kind of coming out of nowhere today with like Chakal, for example. True. And some of the other finishes as well that we sadly didn't catch. We'll try and catch some of these people next time. We'll mark their names down as people to keep an eye on, like Bagel Goose, for example. Maybe I've seen Bagel Goose a little bit before, but they did secure the first Ranger win. So we didn't get to see that, unfortunately, but next time we're going to do it. But do you have any final closing words for us for race 1 here today, folks? Oh, Rise, I should say.
Yeah, folks. Well. I mean, great job, everybody. Honestly, I'm really impressed. I'm looking forward especially to Mr. Shakal for the next event. I think that's clearly a player who's practicing a lot and who's putting in effort. He's invested, and I'm expecting great things from him. So that's my standout and favorite for this one, at least.
Absolutely. And definitely shout out to Angormus for getting the overall win this time. Will this be their fastest time? Definitely not. We've seen a personal best of them of a few minutes faster than what they've had now, and they're going to get even faster. I wouldn't be surprised if
too.
Race 3 is the race that he gets the first time in. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's when you're practicing against yourself, it's a little bit different than when you're actually having real competition and other people are pressuring you. And I mean, last time, I don't think he was feeling particularly pressured. This time, with some players
a lot more pressure
getting
now.
Pretty close, honestly. Even somebody like Alex, on a warrior can get really, really close.
Absolutely. So thank you very much for joining us, folks. It's very fun to be here casting some PoE esports for you. Thanks to GGG for putting on the races. I love it. Very good. Just fostering that race community and building up over time as we, as everyone kind of gets a little bit into this. So thanks very much. And we'll see you fine folks later. Bye-bye. See you next week for the same time for the next race. Be here. Come cheer on the races. Bye.